do it.
Yeah.
So as you can see, 8 bans over the regular season, 8 bans outside of this actual event. And then Coastline comes out against Ninjas in Pajamas, and it's a slaughter for FaZe Clan to take it by a score of 7-0 over their Brazilian rivals.
Yeah, so if you count that, by the way, the record for this event does look a little bit different than the 0-0-1, which is worth noting. So, bans are going to be starting here, and it will be Reciprocity first to ban out Ying. They just don't want to deal with that, and I totally agree with that sentiment, especially on Coastline, which is a very shallow map, which is very good for Ying because she can disable all of the anchors and force you into retake strategy.
Don't you love when your finger misses the cough button?
Oh, did you just cough live?
Just cough live.
I was busy talking. I didn't even notice.
I know you weren't listening. I had my finger on the button. I leaned over to the side like that.
It's okay.
I just tried to pantomime.
It's okay. It's okay, Parker. Don't worry about it. We moved desks.
It's a dry venue.
Whoa! What
okay.
the heck?
That is an interesting one.
There's
a reason.
Yeah, obviously.
There's a reason.
They watch. Okay, so here's the thing. All of these teams are watching the VODs from their upcoming opponents the day, like as soon as they finish their match. So like when FaZe stopped playing yesterday, they went back to the hotel and they started watching the VOD from all of Reciprocity's matches. And I guess they've determined that Ying is a powerhouse operator for Reciprocity, and they're just going to get rid of it. It's the same thing for Reciprocity onto FaZe getting rid of the Valk, but again, I reiterate for the umpteenth time, Reciprocity bans Valkyrie a lot. It doesn't matter what team they're playing against. They just don't like Valkyrie being in the match. And yes, it's a good ban against FaZe. It's also a good ban on Coastline in general, but yeah, that's something Reciprocity do quite a lot. Now, despite the Valkyrie ban, we're still going to have an IQ being brought. So that's probably going to be for the Leash Traps as well as the Pulse. Oh, actually, that's exactly what it is. Reciprocity have been consistently banning Valkyrie and substituting Pulse in her place. So this is a calculated move on the operator selection from FaZe Clan to bring the IQ to counter the Pulse directly. Beautiful. Also, and this is worth noting, Echo isn't banned, which means you're gonna need an IQ if Echo's in play. But Reciprocity have not brought an Echo. Of course, that FaZe can't know that because of the 6-pick. It's a Maestro instead, which is gonna be less vulnerable, of course, to IQ. But the Pulse still very exposed potentially. We'll find out how Reciprocity plays it.
FaZe has shown a lot of, I want to say unpredictability, but also some flexibility.
Yes.
In how they have banned operators over this event so far. I mean, we don't have to look too far back to Rio. You don't have to look too far back to the Pro League when they're banning Echo all the time. They're banning Hibana all the time.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that plays into your map pool as well, but this is, like I said, the Vigil ban, the Jackal ban, so things that catch them off guard. Reciprocity does run a Jackal, so that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, there's not a Valkyrie in Reciprocity's operator lineup. As you mentioned yesterday,
they substitute Pulse.
They do, and Valkyrie is their most banned defensive operator.
Yeah, so nothing too shocking about all of that, way it played out. Montaigne left unbanned is going to be huge, and of course FaZe will take full advantage of that.
I mean, maybe there's a universe wherein Fane is also taking advantage of it.
Stop it.
I was trying to make sure that you were correct.
I make mistakes, Parker.
Yeah, well, you're not the one who just coughed on the live broadcast.
You know, we all make mistakes. We're human. They're going to be hunting down the roamer downstairs, and he will be found. That's Laxing going down, one of the top performers for Reciprocity in this tournament, and a whole lot of information taken out for free.
Foxe was close enough that he possibly could have traded that one off, but instead he will just wait. He sees the corpse of his teammate, and that's all it's going to get to.
He's relying on FaZe not droning security, assuming it's clear because they've taken out one person and no one went for the refrag. It is a huge gamble, and it could pay off for him, but yeah, it's going to come down to FaZe not droning him, and it looks like they haven't. Foxy's going to move his way into lobby. The attackers think that this is clear, and he goes up to the main stairs and gets one frag onto Astro. His position now known, he has to play a little bit more dynamic. The calls are going to get a little bit heated on FaZe Clan as they start ramping things up, trying to hunt down Foxe, but he's elusive, using the impacts to avoid the Montaigne, and that's crazy. Yuna has no idea where he's gone. FAZE behind another target in VIP, but the adjustment might be in here from the IQ. He might have just hurt him, but no, he hasn't. And oh, FAZE doesn't commit. He sprints and gives his position away. Cameraman now aware of where his opponent is. No more impacts for the VIP wall as well. Oh no, what a melee hole from FAZE, an amazing roam.
It's going to put Moringa on Twitch, an unusual operator to have in Moringa's hands, but as we've noted, you don't really need a hard breacher here, so let Moringa play whatever he wants. Perfectly head level. Oh, FAZE is third with Retro gunning down Mav. Yuna will be forced to retreat all the way into Aqua.
15 seconds to go.
And then Montaigne, very similar to a turtle, slow and plodding with lots of armor at his disposal, but not a lot of opportunity for much counterplay. It's a 4v1, and Mark will finish off Yuna. This is a formality. And a nice start, as FAZE doing his best to turn a Super Saiyan as his hair appears on any given day.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a masterful round from FAZE. There is no way around that. Very impressive. He managed to avoid several different roam hunters, and the assumption from FAZE was to their undoing, which was that security was clear. Why did they assume that? They killed somebody inside of security. That was Laxing on the Pulse. A huge mistake from FAZE. They should have still droned it out, but they neglected to. Also worth noting, they didn't just forget to drone out security. They didn't drone out South Office, which means even if FAZE wasn't playing in security, he could have rotated from South Office and done that exact same thing. I mean, he waited in security for a solid 20-30 seconds before he made his play. All in all, an amazing round from FAZE on the Legion. This is quite interesting. FAZE and Laxing swapped roles. Curious. Suppose that depends on the site. Also worth noting, they are going to be defending Penthouse. Now, why is that? Because Mira has been left unbanned, which is very rare. If you've been watching competitive Siege, you know usually she gets banned out, or she doesn't get banned because it's on a map where she's not crazy useful, not super powerful. But one thing she does do here on Coastline is enable the defense of Penthouse. As you can see on the wall to your left here, put a mirror window there on a reinforced wall, you've got a solid anchor position. You can also put a mirror window on the right wall, soft, crouch level, and you can then deny entrance into bathroom. It's a very nice angle, and it's one that I think we can expect Reciprocity to make full use of. Again, this is one of the ways you enable defending Penthouse, which is typically considered to be, I would say, one of the worst sites on this map in the current form of this game.
It's very strange to see Penthouse get played.
Yeah. I mean, this Mira.
Sorry?
It's just the Mira.
Yeah, but I feel like we saw a match the other day. I'd have to reference my notes, but I feel like we saw a match the other day that was on Coastline where Mira wasn't banned. Yeah.
Probably have.
G2
yeah.
Mantis. G2 Mantis, Mira was available, and we did not see Penthouse once.
Preference is supposed practice as well. You know, I mean, if you're not prepared for the possibility of a Mira being in play, then yeah, you might just not go to that site. I mean, I'm guessing Reciprocity might have been expecting the specific counterbans that FAZE brought out.
And you're looking at FAZE attacking Penthouse. They have 0 hard breach.
It's true.
Now, a lot of teams don't run hard breach because Penthouse doesn't really get played. It is really the only site where you need a hard breacher. You can take the wall inside of VIP, you can take the wall over by stairs, and you've got Moringa, who usually plays this hard breach of FAZE on Twitch. Oh, Laxing will pulverize Mav, drop a goo mine, and wait for Moringa to step on up. His position will be given away, phone will be silenced. He's going to get droned by Yuna, and Moringa can just walk in, and it's a fairly easy kill. All things considered on the Laxing, who gets droned, with the logic bomb going as well, and the F2 is just too much for him to muster.
While there is no hard breach, there is a Twitch. Moringa on that Twitch can take out the mirror windows. However, Moringa, as we just saw in security, lost one of his drones. You could see the Zap Tracer after it had been destroyed by Laxing. So Laxing not only got a kill out of that roam, he also took down one of the Twitch drones, which means the mirror windows will be slightly safer. FAZE, again, on the roam, will take out Moringa. So there's no more Twitch drones in play, at least none that can zap the mirror windows that are available. Last one gets deployed there from Mark late, just in case, but the Twitch being dead has made a call. Cameraman takes out FAZE, so there goes the roamer. It's just going to come down to the anchors now.
Fox didn't really have anywhere to go there whatsoever. He pulled out the pistol, and he was just essentially and effectively doomed at that point. FAZE doesn't have a ton or a wealth of possible utility to use. Skies will choke off the doorway in towards the side of Penthouse. Yuna will likely have both smokes available. Astro could still possibly have one of those disruptive blasts. Astro's going to take matters into his own hands. Leaves Skies in a 1v3. He's got an ejected mirror window. He's going to take out Yuna, but his position known as I would imagine. The FaZe will push on in. The IQ up close. Skies gets one. Looks for the second. Can he connect? He doesn't know where the Zofia is, but no, Astro holds the position. And that could have been such a scary predicament for FaZe. They'll walk away by the skin of their teeth. And thank goodness for Astro's play around the doorway to keep this even between the two teams.
Oh boy, was that close. It looked like Skies was going to clutch it out and put us in a 2-0, but not the case. All in all, a decent roam from Reciprocity, but a much better roam clear from FaZe. I absolutely love the way that FaZe Clan hunted down the Reciprocity roamers one by one. And yes, it did cost FaZe quite a lot of manpower, but they got it done and they had enough time to spare when going for the site take. And that's really all you need to see on a roam clear. So well done to FaZe managing to outmuscle Reciprocity, specifically the anchors. And this is quite interesting. They will 6-pick away from the Montaigne. And even more interesting to me, Reciprocity are doubling down on Penthouse. And curious, no hard breacher, which means that FaZe are assuming Reciprocity isn't going to come here again.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You lose Penthouse, it's played so sparingly, you figure that, okay, they're probably going to go to another site. Expect the double bars, expect the kitchen take.
Yeah.
The utility that's being brought from FaZe speaks really well to both. Though, I mean, a Monty on kitchen is very strong. You literally walk Monty in the service entrance, and you can basically hold off a sizable portion of the map. Unless you've got somebody from Reciprocity playing inside of the bathroom, or you've got a smoke who can launch those smoke grenades all the way towards the door. So yeah, I think this is FaZe expecting that Reciprocity would have gone to another site, and under most circumstances, it's probably a smart idea for Reciprocity to do that. But this is where that mental gamesmanship comes in. Reciprocity could have full well said, they're not going to think we're going to go back to Penthouse, let's do it again. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, like Reciprocity was right, if that's the theory behind it.
Reciprocity's got a lot of mind games going on, and I think they definitely put a lot of thought into not only their site selection, their operator selection, their bans, but also their map selection. I mean, it's really awesome to see, especially considering they don't have the coach standing right behind them at all times, you know. And yeah, the coaches can't talk unless it's a tactical timeout, but still, it's impressive from Reciprocity. Now, how is FaZe Clan going to adapt? They managed it last time. They got a little bit lucky with the way that the reinforcements were coming out from Reciprocity as well. Projector was very lightly reinforced, and it allowed for Zofia to open up a hole into Projector and an easy push into that part of the site. Fox on Pulse is going to make the call that Astro is pushing in through Hookah, and he's going to continue to roam here. I mean, as long as he doesn't get droned out, he's in a great position. He made the call to Retro, who will miss his shots. Now, ACOG versus no ACOG. Retro cannot repeat that angle. Moringa tries to drone. That's another Twitch drone. Gone. Great job to Foxay. He's wasted time. He's taken out a Twitch drone. That's going to protect the mirror windows, as we've stated before. And he might get another one. He will. That's 2 Twitch drones for potentially his life. But no, he makes it back to site. Incredible. Amazing that Foxay was only punished by 95 damage. He should have lost his life.
Astro taking out that 90 cam will alert Retro of his presence. You can see the Jaeger possibly get aggressive. A good opportunity for a reset on Foxay next to the reinforced wall. We'll get him back fighting fit, all things considered, after he'd taken a little bit of damage earlier on. Great patience here from Retro, though, to just sit and wait. Nobody from Reciprocity really needs to jump in at all. Presence of the Zofia known yet again because that wall opens up next to Retro inside of Theater. And you can hear some buck work being done from Map. Retro not committing to pushing this fight. I don't think Retro has any intel on that hallway. We know that Laxing is playing by the main stairs. C4 gets tossed out, lands in front of Mav. The position of Retro should be given away as Foxay will now go for a full rotate, and Astro has fallen off. So the position in which Retro is looking will be in vain. Foxay finds Mav, tick-tock goes the clock, 30 seconds as you would say, Michael, and not a lot of time for FaZe to be able to commit to an execute. Retro unable to land the shots onto the Dokkaebi, he'll finish off Yuna and immediately get back into his position up on the ledge as Laxing now moves around towards the service entry doorway. He's going to see Cameraman, and it's going to be a fight to the death, but the close range angle of Laxing will win it out as two members of his team pick up very important frags, and Penthouse on the second opportunity for Reciprocity will go in their favor. The defense will hold on to that one.
It straight up looked like FaZe Clan were confused. I mean, the way that they played that round was nothing like their previous attempt. I imagine they were not expecting Penthouse twice in a row, and they were surprised. But that aside, they found out it was Penthouse. Why not play it the way they did last time? What happened last time for FaZe is they isolated and hunted down the roamers one after another. And they didn't try that this time around. I mean, no, that's unfair. That's unfair to FaZe. They did try it. They just failed. FAZE was roaming a lot safer. In general, Reciprocity was roaming a whole lot safer. They had the roamers, but they were playing in locations known to be controlled by the defense, for example, VIP. When FAZE was not being pressured from the VIP windows, he remained in VIP to delay and take out 2 Twitch drones, again preserving the mirror windows. Overall, that round went the way of Reciprocity because FaZe got no early picks. Why didn't they get any early picks? Reciprocity were playing a lot safer. That's it. And because they were playing safer, FaZe slowed down for some reason instead of speeding up and didn't have enough muscle to outpower Reciprocity going for a site take. Not to mention, very little time. I mean, that was just a totally different round for FaZe Clan overall as compared to their first attack on Penthouse.
Worth noting as well that on FaZe Clan's side of things, it's been a pretty slow start for this entire team, barring Astro's performance.
Fair.
He won a round off of, what, I think 6 frags across FaZe Clan over 3 rounds. Not an ideal number to sit at, that's exactly correct. And Astro collecting 4. He got, what, the 3K on that round on which FaZe won on Penthouse Theater, second round, Michael?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Not keeping a tally exactly on every single kill, but
No.
Astro has always been a standout performer, and when he gets unleashed, be very frightening for most people to have to deal with. Now, as it is a double bar setup, Kitchen is going to be where you're going to see those castle barricades get situated because that's control that you're going to want. As with pretty typical castle setups, you could just open the soft wall right next to the barricade and goodbye, FAZE. That's top frag meeting top frag head on, and Astro will prevail, pick up kill number 5. So he just drones in the middle of the open. He's going to drone himself in. 2 drones thrown Mark's way, and he gets both of them. But his position over by the potted plant will not be shaken. Just waiting to see if Astro's going to push on up through the kitchen doorway. The tense standoff. And Astro's position will be aided by the fact that Mark will now need to silence his phone for just a second. He won't do so, though. He'll just sit there.
Waiting for Laxing to cover him. Definitely the right call. Angle needs to be held. They cannot allow FaZe to push through kitchen doorway. That would throw all of this defense into chaos. A big part of the defense as well is going to be the top floor, where we have 2 roamers currently, and 1 in easy access by the Cool Vibe stairs. Overall, it's going to be a slow take here for FaZe. As we've seen from them in the past, that they've got plenty of time, and they've already started to outmuscle Reciprocity.
Actually very surprising there's 0 setup in hookah from Reciprocity. Teams could throw a mirror up there, teams could open the hatches up, they could have the floors open so that if you lose control of sight, you can at least try to battle back with that second floor hold. That's not really the case here. FaZe can just essentially collapse on hookah and then have to use their own soft destruction to open it up. So second logic bomb will signal what is likely going to be your execute. The Togepi of Yuna will fly on in and just immediately start to plant. In the midst of a barbed wire, razor wire, there'll be no cut up from Yuna as he gets the diffuser down quite successfully, and FaZe take advantage of the fact that Reciprocity was held in place. There's Retro to gun down Yuna, and it's a 4v4 after Fox had fallen much earlier on. This lack of setup in hookah will be a major issue for Reciprocity as they will have to go for a full outside rotate. Mark guns out, and he'll get shut down by Moringa as both Mav and the Twitch of Moringa is holding the post plant. But it's a counter defuse from Reciprocity, and nobody from FaZe is watching. Oh man, that is a comical mistake. FaZe, you're too far away. I know Retro's a little guy, but I mean, come on. You gotta see him when he's going for the defuse. That's a pretty big blunder. And it's 3-1 in favor of Reciprocity.
That was a hilarious round for a couple of different reasons. Reciprocity, okay, so why did they not detect the plant inside of Blue Bar? Well, I'll tell you why. The Zofia play from Astro has been so good this match. All of his lifelines have been useful. Not only the impacts, but also the Gizmots. So Very good job to Astro opening up behind. He got the early frag from Kitchen. Following that, he rotated to South Office, and he used his Disrupt to disorient the Smoke and make it so Smoke could not hear the telltale tap, tap, tap of that diffuser being planted. Because the diffuser was not called, all of the very many counter-plant utility, or very many counter-plant plays that Reciprocity had established were not employed, and they had to play for a retake. And honestly, at that round, it was all but lost for Reciprocity. It was a beautiful read from FaZe Clan. Amazing lifeline use there from Astro, allowing for the smoke cover from Dokkaebi and the phone calls to get a plant behind Blue Bar. But then they abandoned the diffuser. You know, one of the things as a player when you're in a team environment like this, at any level really, not just this level, the highest level of Siege, but at any level, is to make sure in a post plant you ask who has eyes on diffuser. There's very many different ways you could do this, but a lot of teams will just say, do you have eyes? Do you have eyes? Someone has to confirm, they confirm, and okay, you're good. And then once that person says, I've lost eyes, or they die, somebody else has to establish eyes on the diffuser. Clearly that part of the communication train for FaZe, not happening. And that's really unfortunate.
FaZe always has these weird stretches where they just don't seem to be able to relay any info that they have to each other and just kind of fly in blind. I mean, you look at that second penthouse attack that really fell apart for FaZe. How much of that was just a lack of drones? Astro stood at the other wall of 90 waiting for a minute when one single drone could have possibly been used to help guide him down and force Mark, who was playing up on the FaZe shelf, or even Laxing, who was playing over by luggage at the top of the stairs, to engage the Zofia in a fight that just didn't happen.
You could call it a lack of preparedness. They did rush the plant. They rushed the plant because they saw an opportunity, and that was a good call. But then the post plant play from FaZe was just really abysmal, and there's not much else to say, to be honest.
So a very similar setup as now Fox A gets droned out, hits with that lifeline, and walks away with it. There's another body, but no, Astro will grab Foxy and he will go into orbit as the Legion flies on up, hits the stratosphere.
FaZe should have lost or won that flat out. Fox A should have just died, but FaZe Clan lost their IQ in the engagement.
Unfortunate for them, and now Laxing is going to be under watch as you hear that LMG work away. Beautiful shot from Yuna. Could have been aided by the Adrenal Surge. That's 2 entry frags for FaZe that will go quite well. Now Retro also being gunned down. It's going to be a battle back in favor of Reciprocity here, looking to hold on to Hookah. They were successful in the very first time they defended here. FaZe looking to try to have a bit of a course correction, not find themselves going down 4-1 early on. Adrenal Surge will hit. Here comes Mav all the way to Cool Vibe stairs. I don't think he sees that Retro is playing so close. He absorbs a little bit of damage, but nowhere near a mortal wound.
Retro is 1 bullet away from death right here. This is a really difficult position for him to hold, but he's doing his darndest. Mark's gonna get Moringa. That's an excellent kill. The pre-fire's gonna give away the position, but the headshot lands regardless. Retro, a miracle play there considering how low he was. A huge blunder from Mav, leaving just Yuna and Astro. They're both pushing though from Aquarium, and this is a good position to push in unison. Up in Billiards, it's going to be Mark to take down Yuna, leaving just Astro. Definitely the best player so far today for FaZe, but can he 1 versus 3 with only 8 seconds left? The answer is no. An excellent holdout for Reciprocity. A round they shouldn't have won though.
See the diffuser, it's levitation homes.
Yes.
Floating above the billiards table. And right now, all of Reciprocity floating, dare I say it, on Cloud 9 with these results.
Thank you, Watson.
You're very welcome. Wait, why are you Holmes?
I don't know, you called me Holmes, man.
Homie.
Oh.
Oh. Now you understand.
Okay.
What happened to FaZe in that particular round? Number one, they had 3 bodies downstairs. It didn't look like they were droning much of that main floor. Reciprocity keeps investing in these really weird solo roams. And I say really weird because this was something that you could get away with a year ago. This was something you could get away with when the attackers didn't have a Dokkaebi. The attackers didn't have Lion when he was available. They didn't even really have Jackal at the time. They still had drones, but overall, you don't want to be too disconnected. You don't want to be able to, you know, just be on your own, because if you get pinched by a well-coordinated team, there's no ability to come back. Now, there is no Jackal on the board. FaZe, almost ironically, banned Jackal who could be a major help right now, all things considered. But Reciprocity is getting away with these very deep solo roams with very little backup from the rest of their team, and that can bite you so hard. We have seen teams fall apart because they are so disjointed, and you have great teams with great entries like G2, like EG, that can just waltz right in, pick you apart, and shut you down. It's not been the case so far for FaZe at all.
I would say that the reason Reciprocity are getting away with these solo roams is not necessarily FaZe playing poorly, it's more Reciprocity just playing better. I mean, the solo roams from FAZE have been amazing throughout this match and have won many of the rounds that Reciprocity currently have on their side. Seriously, he's been outperforming and then some. He won a gunfight on main stairs while hit by a Zofia lifeline shot. That's crazy. He should have lost that, period. So taking 1 kill away from that fight was big for FAZE. He couldn't run away because the Jajmat restricts your mouse movement, and it's very unlikely he would have been able to adjust to throw the impact. But no matter what, it's been a lot of great performances from Reciprocity. Astro, the best player on his team right now, will be shut down by a solo roam in the main lobby. Why? Nobody from FaZe droned it.
Here's the big issue too with the style of play that we're seeing from FaZe, because a lot of FaZe is also solo entries. You start to get angry at your teammates not being able to figure these things out for you. You rely on your teammates to be able to drone for you. You rely on your teammates to be able to give you the heads up that there's somebody playing nearby. It was a down, looked like it was a frag grenade that got tossed out from Yuna. We'll find Laxing, but Laxing gets reset, picked back up, and you have one piece of the kit from Yuna used.
Yeah.
But that's it, that's all it counts. And you might not even know that you got the down because Yuna fell off immediately and now moved over to the completely opposite side of the map on Cool Vibe Stairs.
Yeah, I mean, it was an indirect grenade. He threw it through the window at the top of main stairs, so it makes sense that he didn't know he got the down, pardon. Brief reminder, there are no points at this level.
Possibly assuming somebody was playing at 90, which was an incorrect call, but that's all right. Retro on the Jaeger this time around, as there's been some fluidity on the team of Reciprocity, or on the side of Reciprocity, on who plays what on the team. But Retro will have to be very accurate. His two bodies are looking their direction. Nav will give his position away. Oh no, and it's a crossfire! It's a collapse from Reciprocity! FAZE and Retro dogpile onto Yuna and Mav, and now Cameraman is ready and waiting for Laxing and Retro to try to work this together. Retro will miss his one shot, get cut down by the IQ of Cameraman, who walks right in and picks up a second onto Mark, and FaZe could correct their issues. They've got time to work with, but they don't have a lot of utility available. Breaching charges will be very little. Moringa gets felled and dropped by FAZE, and now it's Cameraman in an unenviable position as Skies chops him down, and how the mighty will fall on defense of all sides for Coastline, a 5-1 scoreline for Reciprocity as we switch sides, and it'll be FaZe's crack at the defense.
Wow. That was a pretty one-sided half. Look at that, 5-1 for Reciprocity. We had some close rounds there from FaZe, but honestly, if you take a step backwards, FaZe just really struggled in clearing out the roamers for Reciprocity. Really poor drone play is the main critique I have for FaZe as well. Not working well together, other than that very first round that FaZe managed to take, second round total. They coordinated exceptionally well. They hunt down the roamers one after another, and then they managed to take it. But apart from that round, FaZe were all over the place, man. And Reciprocity took full advantage. You said it yourself, the Jackal ban, right now, looking incredibly ironic for FaZe Clan, as it hurt them the most. Not sure exactly what happened, but Yuna has lost almost half of his HP. The round just started, so that's got to be a shotgun blast. I didn't even hear an impact. It had to have been a shotgun blast from Moringa.
I would suspect as much.
So that's they would call it a big whoops. And Yuna already going to be on low HP. There's no reason to reset.
Whoops coming right up.
Yeah, real big heckin' whoops. There's no reason to reset that. He has a little bit more than he would get if reset.
There's no dock. This is literally the worst circumstance.
Yeah, and
because there's no point in a reset, and you have no way to get your health back.
Here's the thing. The great advantage of being a 3 armor is that you are more durable, and now he's less durable, significantly so. So, yeah, it's about as bad as it gets. But It's all just one thing. There's many more facets to the defense for FaZe.
If FaZe loses this round, they will likely take their one timeout, and what happens? They take a timeout on match point against them.
Yes.
Why do you not do it down 4-1? Why do you not do it down 5-1?
It's a good point, Parker.
This is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
A missed opportunity to find yourself, center yourself, and have a position to talk amongst your teammates.
Well, it definitely has punished FaZe already. We can say that with absolute confidence. In a bad position and in a hard recovery no matter how you look at it. FAZE looking to hunt down the Maestro. He got a mark there, unable to land the shots though, and Mark's going to be droning FAZE in towards Kitchen, which is the defended site. FAZE going to be able to hunt down the Echo. That's really big, and it's why we didn't see Team Reciprocity bringing Echo, because IQ is still in play.
Yeah, and Cameraman was reliably running the IQ.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
every time
smart from Reciprocity not to bring it, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, this is. I'm kind of astonished we haven't seen a tactical timeout get taken yet, but that's just the way things work, I guess, here. So
they're playing an open wall strategy on Kitchen. That's because holding Kitchen is very difficult, and if you hold onto Garden in the middle of the map, then you can play long angles and deny Kitchen entry to the attackers. Speaking of long angles, Mark's going to get a long one on to Astro. And with the Maestro going down, that's the Evil Eye is disabled. They could still call, but that was the person who was meant to deny entry into Kitchen from the Garden area. Huge kill there.
Also the most important player who has been on FaZe so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just their best player today, but also, in addition to that, oh no, Mark! That is not ideal. Gets taken down and caught by Mav. He's going to lose his teammate, though, as Cameron gets finished off. Moringa very low on HP, so Reciprocity can very easily continue onwards as they have been so far. But keep in mind, the site is downstairs. You've still got a couple bodies from Reciprocity who are up top. We'll need to transition. Looks like Yuna's been down. It might be a reset. I'm not entirely certain what's going on with FaZe, but it's not. Skies finishes off Yuna, and it will literally leave the entire team's life hanging in the balance, with Mav watching the main lobby into the courtyard. He's got the twitch of Skies not too far off, but he gives his position away, and there's a mark from Reciprocity. Not the mark, but a mark. To let them know where that Legion is playing. Only 30 seconds, and FAZE is in, and he's going to plant up top on the Kitchen counter. Moringa's still available. He's going to come on in, but he's a shot at any part of the body, and he'll just get fed to Laxing. Where is Mav? Aiming at the skies. FaZe, please, if you're listening, take your time out. It's 6-1 for Reciprocity, Michael.
At this point, they might just have given up on Coastline, if I'm being honest, Parker. If they don't take a timeout here, then yeah, they gave up, and it looks like they haven't. So, FaZe aren't in it for this map, but it's just one. This is a best of 3.
You think that was bad calls for Mav to think that there was a body up top on...
No, I understand why he would think that, but I think you're right. It might have been bad calls. Because imagine, if you will, the Echo gets killed, right, in luggage. He knows that the Twitch is playing by luggage. He calls upper square or upper skylight or upper whatever. Maybe Mav thought he meant the top of the roof. I don't know. It's possible.
He was aiming at the sky, Michael, but not...
I know.
At the skies.
Was that Skies?
Skies was playing the Twitch, was he not?
Was he? You might be right. For some reason I was thinking of Mark, because you mentioned Mark.
Mark was playing the Capital. Mark died.
I know Mark died, but I just, I can't see him as anything other than Mark after you said that, for some reason.
Now, I'm very curious why we don't have a tactical timeout being taken from FaZe here. You get one per map.
Again, I think Parker, they may have just given up on Coastline at this point.
Like, but why?
That's the only logic that I have.
Why do you give... You are facing elimination. Why do you give up on a map?
I have no idea, Parker. Maybe they forgot tactical timeouts are a thing?
They are role-playing as Nip yesterday.
Wow, that's a low blow.
It's a joke, Michael.
Yeah, but still.
Because FaZe gave up, or Nip gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the joke.
They did.
They almost got it back, though.
They did.
Kamikaze almost dragged that team back.
He really wanted it. He was very passionate. And if we're talking about the Kamikaze of FaZe right now, it's got to be Astro. Astro's mechanics, game sense, and positioning have been almost perfect through this map so far. But it's not enough. We've said this many times before. A single standout performance is just not enough to win a map or a match by itself. See Rampy.
All right. Match point, you don't take your timeout. Whether you give up on Coastline or not, you still got 2 more maps to go.
Yeah, so potentially gonna see the full 3. We expect to see the full 3 in this series. I want to say, I don't know how much confidence I can say, but I want to say that Coastline is just Reciprocity being hands down better at this map. But at the same time, I know that's not true. I think FaZe are still pretty good here, and it's surprising me.
FaZe literally crushed NiP on this map 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it wasn't even just NiP always playing poorly. It was FaZe playing pretty well in comparison, even though 6 of those 7 rounds were NiP on attack, failing to run an IQ. 4 bodies left for Reciprocity to be able to put this one away, but after Skies does get the leadoff kill onto Moringa, losing good utility, there's Cameraman. But back and forth, what a shot from FAZE. And Michael, you might have been right when you said that they've just given up on Coastline, and they look to bank possibly to salvage this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Yuna's pulled out some heroics. Astro in a position to run out of service. He's got the Capitao of Mark. Just waiting to see if Astro can get around the doorway. There's a Claymore established or not, but Mark might not have droned him. He didn't see him. Astro's out. Back in. Yuna covering, and Astro was not detected.
He's still an unknown factor.
Very lucky. Asphyxiating bolt goes down, Firebolt. Yuna will have a long angle with that ACOG. Mark getting the defuse off. And there's going to be some marks going in themselves. The Yokai drone is not in position.
Oh, he
misses. He gets it at the last second. So Mark will go back on, but the Yokai completely out of charges. Astro cuts down Retro. Mark will fall off, knowing that part of his protection has been removed from play. Only 20 seconds to go, and it's going to be all up to Yuna. As Astro gunned down from FAZE, the Echo will have to try to hold off multiple angles. Out of charges, Plant goes down, and Yuna in an unenviable position, completely blind inside of service. He'll need to move on up as FaZe look to go down on this map. As long as Reciprocity can close it out. They've got the open wall at their disposal, and they'll continue to look down towards Yuna's position as he wanders in the kitchen, bobs around the bomb chassis. There's nobody in courtyard for Yuna to find. He's going to get gunned by Laxing. Reciprocity, what a performance and what an opening first map. Sky's obviously very happy. You can hear the shouts from here, and FaZe, what a debilitating first game and a very disappointing result for the Brazilian fans watching. Reciprocity takes map 1 7-1.
I feel like now that Skies is on a team he really likes being on, enjoys being around, he's evolving into Troy with the woos. I mean, he's been wooing throughout this whole tournament.
1 Troy is enough.
Half
a Troy.
He's not a full-fledged Troy. When Troy won that match a while back, we played a number 1. I could hear him on the other side of the venue. But yes, a lot of confidence here on Team Reciprocity, as I think the point I'm trying to get at. And rightfully so. That was some amazing play from Reciprocity across the board. Not just FAZE on his amazing roams, but also in general Reciprocity's roam here. Their coordination is stellar. Mark came off of that plant, and at first I thought that might be a mistake. I'm talking about the last round here. As he came off the plant, it might have been an unnecessary caution. But he was truly just waiting for FAZE to come up from behind by bathroom and get the extra pick. Once that had been established, he went back for the plant. He was just worried about getting out-muscled because Laxing was the only one covering him from the kitchen doorway, and his angle was not perfect to hold. So overall, some really great communication and coordination on the side of Reciprocity, a serious lack thereof on the side of FaZe, and I agree with you, Parker. I have no idea why FaZe didn't call a tactical timeout. There were opportunities aplenty, and I have to say the only reason I can imagine is that they just gave up. Other than that, and this is impossible to perceive, but maybe they forgot that was an option?
All right. Well, the teams are going to get ready. The teams are going to come back in, and we have a 2-minute break ready for you. We can do some more analysis when we get into our second match. Between these two teams, we still have Bank left, and then if a tiebreaker is required, Consulate, which also happens to be a pretty good map for Reciprocity. So FaZe in trouble early on. Can they correct themselves on map 2? We'll find out in just a couple minutes.
It's my whole life.
It's my family, it's my income, it's what I wake up for.
Você aceita casar comigo?
First, I loved her, and I loved the game.
These are the best teams in the world for a reason.
I didn't imagine that I would be here today. It's like we're dreaming.
What trait I'm most proud of about myself, it's knowing what it takes to win.
We need to face the demons in ourselves.
The Danish superstar.
It scares me a little bit. How much can I lose?
He had 11 concussions.
Your head right into the boards.
I know that I'm an older player than my colleagues. Sometimes I have to work harder than them.
When I was sad because I couldn't play hockey anymore, this was all that made me happy.
It's easier for you to be a champion than stay on the top.
Yeah.
You know, we're the kings. We can say that without sounding too arrogant. Now the pressure's on them. No one respects us.
It's such a great story.
And this time we're gonna win. I'm sure we're gonna win. We cannot lose.
What a beautiful day for a rematch.
I want to prove we're the best team, period.
Oh my God, they did it! $2 million is at stake.
We have all come down to this.
For the championship.
Oh my God, this is getting close.
What a heartwarming documentary that we've seen. And there's going to be a lot of content like that when we do hit the main stage on Friday. As we go barreling towards the playoffs and then the actual 6 Invitational and stuff, because we are just in the midst of the group stages. But welcome back. My name's Intero. This is my good friend Kickstar.
Hello.
I said good friend.
He did say that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going to Bank, and as you can see, the record for both teams here, FaZe are very comfortable on this map, and it's certainly going to broadcast that we will see a map number 3, but it's not a guarantee.
Right.
We've been seeing a lot of results that don't make a whole lot of sense throughout this tournament so far, and that last map is a good example. An absolutely dominant performance from Reciprocity on a map that FaZe should be pretty good at.
I mean, FaZe banned it so much that we didn't have a ton of data on it, and then they showed up against NIP, and they did exceedingly well on it, and we thought to ourselves, oh man, they've clearly been saving strats. Have they on Bank, though? That's the real question here. Because if you saw on the bans at the bottom, this is not a map that Reciprocity usually plays that much. So we have the inverse. We went to Coastline, it was a map that FaZe didn't play too much. Now we go to Bank, which is a map that Reciprocity doesn't play all the time. We have Consulate as our third map, need we remind you. So let's get things going with the ban phase here. It's going to be a glass ban from Reciprocity onto FaZe.
Inverse stats leading into the match, but will we see inverse results is the question. And I don't know, to be honest. The way that these teams have been playing, Reciprocity looking top form. We've seen the back and forth, though, happen in these best-of-3 series a lot during this tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know if I expect it. Glaz and Habana going to be our 2-band attacking operators, and we've got Echo also being eliminated here.
These are very common FaZe bans, especially for Bank.
Yeah, just in general, all of this being pretty common. And
yeah,
there's the Telltale Valk ban from Reciprocity, which they have been committed to for pretty much this whole tournament. I don't know if they've actually banned... No, they have. They have, but I think only once. They've been pretty consistently banning nothing but Valk.
They don't like playing against her.
Yeah, I get it.
That's it. They just don't like her.
I get it. I understand. And especially against Latin American teams, it can be a crippling blow. We've talked about this in the past quite a lot, actually. Latin America, Valk is their operator. So not surprising in the least that Reciprocity have been getting rid of it against the opponents they've been playing. We're going to be seeing a basement defense, it looks like, first things first. And Reciprocity will get to defend first, and that's 2 defenses in a row to start things off. We got Coastline and Bank. That's a really good setup for Reciprocity. I'm surprised that they managed to get that. FaZe clearly has some plans on attack, and we'll see how they can make that happen. They've got a Montaigne again, but we saw in the past that Montaigne was a non-factor for FaZe when on Coastline. He will be much more useful, I believe, on Bank. Also worth noting, Laxing is going to get to play Vigil. FaZe Clan unable to ban that. They had to get rid of the Echo. I understand that because you need more operators specifically designed and taken from server on this map. And so unlike Coastline, you do not have the flexibility to play an IQ. Thus, you need to ban the Echo to have any hope of attacking down in server, at least based on the way that FaZe Clan are organizing their operator selection. So that's, I suppose, a smart ban. But again, it frees up Reciprocity.
Now, there's been some confusion with the way that FaZe Clan plays this Monty strat on CCTV on the bottom floor of Bank. Number one, Montaigne does not block the destruction that happens behind him if a C4 goes off. The planter behind a Montaigne will...
He can block the C4.
He can block the C4, but the person behind him still takes full damage. Now, so...
No, I mean, like, he can stop the C4, if but he can't block the damage itself.
Correct. So, essentially what ends up happening is... Oh, no! Astro goes down. Fox a very brazen early play inside of stock trading. And he'll head for the hills. It's a big pick. And he'll get under the skin of FaZe within moments of this match starting. Please. Reciprocity, let me finish my thought here. So, essentially the way that FaZe will play this is they will blow open the one panel that leads to the server rack downstairs. They will have the Montaigne go in. Yuna will essentially act as a drone, try to bait out utility, and then the plant that goes down behind it, which is almost always Moringa, will be able to get that information and continuously back up. C4 is itself not blocked at all by the shield. Very commonplace, by the way, for Reciprocity and anybody is to play aggressively on server stairs, which is where Skies is going to play. A lot of teams won't barricade that double door, though, in towards an open area. One ADS has been burned out. Skies is just waiting for a push as he will lose the cover from the deployable shield, and here comes the Montaigne. And I will imagine that the Jaeger will fall off.
He has no choice, really. Impact's going to do a little bit of damage, but a little. Keywords here. Sprays coming out from Skies, and ooh. Missed shots from Mav, going to result in Skies falling all the way back. No punishment for wasting 2 whole minutes. That's a successful roam if I've ever seen one. And he's going to be a huge player moving forward. Probably going to be the late flank from Reciprocity when it comes down to the actual site push. Some open holes here from Retro, so you can use the bars to your advantage as a defender. Long angles into A on the default plant spot. There's not a whole lot of time here for FaZe Clan, as they really need to start putting the pedal to the metal if they want to have any hope of winning this one. Gas canisters still in play. Those have full effect on the shield, of course, and Yuna's going to have to fall back. That's 2 gas canisters. Still plenty of time here for FaZe, all things considered, but Yuna's on low HP, so it's not an ideal situation. Last gas canister. That's some really poor pacing from Reciprocity, but it might not matter because the C4 is still in play.
Only one C4, worth noting. So if you can keep Mark held down, then, well, it's going to be a major problem. Cameraman guns down Laxing. C4 gets put away. Mark! Wait, you got to pull the trigger.
Where's the plant happening?
Moringa's going down with the plant. Mark will take out Mav and rush on in. There's a body that gets taken down. C4 gets tossed. Oh, it's a double down! Oh my goodness, Mark the Shark! He guns them all in a terrific play. What a clutch from Mark. And Reciprocity will start things off in stunning fashion here with an explosive finish. And Reciprocity well on their way through 1 round at least to continue the success that they found on map 1.
I like the idea there from FaZe, but I really don't like the execution. Of course, they didn't have enough manpower. They wasted a lot of time on server. They at no point punished Reciprocity. If you take yourself back to Coastline, the only round FaZe managed to win is the 1 round where they seriously punished the roamers from Reciprocity. They got 2 picks early on, and they managed to outmuscle the anchors on the Reciprocity side. FaZe got no picks in server, and they wasted a ton of time. Following that, their setup for the plant just inside a server, it was pretty smart. Team Reciprocity's pacing on the smoke, the gas canisters, was not amazing. They only had the 1 C4 to back it up, which put them in a tricky spot. But because the C4 landed, of course, it did enough damage to down both of the planters. The point I'm trying to get to here is that Reciprocity themselves were deceived by the plant. They didn't see it coming. You saw the mirror staring right at the Montaigne, but he had no idea the Thermite was behind. So it was an awesome setup from FaZe, just not enough manpower in the long run. And again, no early picks made the post plant pretty abysmal. And the C4 just, I mean, that's the final nail in the coffin there for FaZe. 1 kill there, by the way, for FaZe. That whole round, near perfect from Reciprocity. They're going to go to CEO, and that's going to be a, well, it's a primary site for a lot of teams these days, or the secondary site for others, so not a terrible surprise.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
No Montaigne being brought here from FaZe. They have brought Thermite. They're expecting to attack the top floor. Montaigne is useful here, but there's mostly just a lot of long angles on the top floor, and you 9 times out of 10 want to have a rifle to play those long angles instead of somebody who can block the shots from the defenders. Operator selection making a lot of sense here for FaZe.
You're not going to bring a Montaigne up to CEO, not the same way, I would say. You
No.
gamble it on
can.
that basement.
But you're not going to. It's actually a Teller's defense, so I was mistaken. But they're going to be defending it from Tellers, and holding above in CEO. And it's extended roam here from Reciprocity. So it's a bit of a deceptive hold, but it makes sense. This is something we've seen a lot of on this site, or just in general when you have vertical play being so prevalent anywhere.
Yuna's lost most of his HP at this point. You've usually got Mav playing on the Buck. They put Yuna on it. It's going to give him a set of frag grenades similar to the way that he plays the Finka. But what's the thought process behind this?
The Finka?
No, the thought process behind moving Mav off to the Jackal, putting Yuna, not Ying, putting Yuna.
Today, man.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's something to definitely keep mind of. Mav gone, Laxing takes him out, MP7 too much to handle. There's a number of members on both sides that have lost a fair amount of their life. Foxay and Skies both in positions where Foxay not so much for a reset, but Skies definitely primed for one. Now with the site being Teller's Archives down on that main floor, your control of the second floor up in CEO is so important. So much utility was used to try and hold off the attackers. That's all fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, there's also still the Buck in play, as you mentioned. Yuna going to be playing on that role, and he can now start opening up a bunch of holes, cutting off rotations between sides, disabling the anchor positions that are so common on these on this site. So this is a really good position for FaZe to find themselves in, especially considering so many of Team Reciprocity are lit up. Skies hasn't been reset because there's no time and no position to do that. Yuna's going to take out Mark as he gets a little static, but it will be a refrag from Retro. Surprise, he says to Yuna, and present death. FaZe Clan still in a good position, having lit up many of the Reciprocity players, but overall a much better position for Reciprocity, especially after Astro missed that shot.
Retro and Skies are just a bullet away from death for both of these teams, which would be a lopsided affair for FaZe Clan, who would find themselves back in the driver's seat when it comes to numbers. Still FaZe languishing. Upstairs, not a lot of opportunity for them to be able to transition in towards the site. You got Moringa down, ready to go for a possible plant, but he'll walk right into the smoke, takes so much damage. Astro finishes off Skies, and it's a diffuser going down on behalf of Moringa. But he gets gunned down from Laxing. Oh no, and there's only 3 seconds. This is very easy for Reciprocity to hold on, and Astro's upstairs, nowhere nearby, not even in the same postal code. And while he does get the final kill of the round, it's the clock that runs out, and it's Reciprocity taking the first 2.
I was deceived. I thought it was a defensive CEO based on the way the Reciprocity was playing at the beginning of the round. And it was a defense of the CEO, but the actual site in Tellers. Tellers being the best bomb site on this map statistically, having the highest defender win rate. Reciprocity taking full advantage of that. We've seen a lot of teams actually ignore Tellers recently, which is curious, but Reciprocity not one of those teams. They're gonna go to CEO this time around, proper CEO, defending the top floor, and because of that, bringing 2 ACOGs in Rook and Doc. This is we were in a Rook and Doc meta. I remember back in Season 2. You're in Season 9 now. It's odd to see both of them brought, but it makes sense on the top floor of Bank because, again, as we discussed, a lot of long angles up here. Worth noting that, again, FaZe did bring an operator lineup to attack CEO. The last time they attacked, it was for Tellers, but this time they're going to bring a similar one, and it will be, once again, an attack on the top floor that is necessary. Last time was Roam Clear. This time it'll be the anchors, but still necessary.
The executes from FaZe so far through these 2 matches have been really
bad.
Pitiful.
Yeah.
10 seconds left.
I use the word languish. I think that applies. They
Lingering.
basically they linger. They loiter,
5 seconds left.
Loitering.
tread water.
Yeah. They're
Think about
very
how
timid.
much. Think about how much
Trepidation.
Covered the bomb diffuser.
Reciprocity's setup went into that second floor, as you mentioned in CEO.
Yeah.
1 mirror window, 2 castle barricades, all of the ammo to be able to open up lines of sight. And what happened? FaZe took control of it in what, 1 minute and 10 seconds?
Yeah.
And then did almost nothing with it. You had Astro, who was upstairs, doing a good job of patrolling the openings that have been created by Yuna, but Yuna loses a fight that he didn't really need to take. Could have possibly stayed up there doing more soft destruction. Helped Moringa, who was downstairs in lobby, all by his lonesome. Finally, you get Cameraman to jump in, but he's way too late. Moringa walks into the Lion's Den with 0 cover. It's a very easy finish. It plants in the line of sight next to an ejected mirror window.
I mean, to be fair to FaZe, that was their second best attack so far.
Of the day?
Of the day. That was their second best attack of the day. To be fair to them. You said it right. They didn't make a whole lot of work get done with control of that top floor, but they did a little bit. A little.
They're making much better time here of CEO.
Yeah.
And these walls are soft.
Wait, they're soft?
These walls appear to be
Parker,
soft.
are the walls soft?
The walls are as soft as a pair of well-moisturized hands, Michael.
I have
Well,
no
the
idea.
right wall is actually.
Yeah, one of them's reinforced. So this is curious. The way that Reciprocity have decided to set themselves up. Obviously, they figure it's a foregone conclusion the wall would be open. It makes sense. FaZe is going to repel on north windows. You cannot impact trick. When there's an attacker repelling on north windows, you're too exposed. Reciprocity is not even going to try. Moringa will take out Laxing, so there goes your Legion. It's a very good pick, and even Laxing appreciates the shot, as you can see. The respect between adversaries.
You got them typing in chat. That's always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
So, oh, there's Sky's a nice long angle. Playing all the way from over in Janitorial to take out Cameraman in the Ashes, just completely unaware. FaZe really need to get their drone work in order if they want to try to keep this together. And now, Michael, we see exactly why that wall was left soft. Because the mirror window that's going to look from Conference into Janitor will be held down by Skies as he can hold that long angle with the MP5. First Logic Bomb seems to strike the site. It's an opportunity for FaZe to be able to go for an execute. And Moringa is in. And off to the races they will go, but Skies is there amidst the smoke. There's Moringa going for the plant. Skies, you gotta hurry if you're gonna try to take out the Thermite. Can't do it, your team's fallen by the wayside. Yuna picks up 2, and Foxay downstairs will be Reciprocity's sole survivor. It's a successful plant for FaZe, and a good round, ultimately, all things considered. What looks like a almost foregone conclusion here that Foxay will be unable to cut through the 4 remaining members. So slash and dash his way up the stairs. He's got the Moringa sitting at the top. Thermite just waiting and watching, and he can't beat the marble banners. Moringa can, and that's an easy lockout for FaZe. And yes, Michael, there you have it. The best attacking round that we've seen so far from FaZe. It works out quite well.
And their second attacking win for the day. Solid strategy there from FaZe. They were a little bit slow on the execute. I would say they lingered, as you would say. It was still successful, though, and that's all that really matters in the end, I suppose. Overall, I'd say the real problem is probably the way the Reciprocity chose to handle that. Could you imagine if Skies had been hitting those shots, spraying towards the bomb chassis? The smokes doing their job, protecting the Thermite and Moringa, allowing for the plant? And that's really all that matters. FaZe did, though, plant in the dying seconds of the round. So potentially a really bad round there. Gone the way of FaZe. And we talked about it earlier. The way that FaZe has been winning their attack rounds is usually only an option if they're punishing Reciprocity on the roam. Reciprocity were not roaming. Not really that round. They had some, but it was not a real strategy. The ones that existed were punished, and more importantly, the anchors got picked off way too early from Reciprocity, despite FaZe having a very slow attack.
10 seconds to go.
There you go. So you complete the rotation, go back downstairs to CCTV, and ultimately it was Mark C4 that came in so clutch in the final seconds there to be able to take out the 2 members of FaZe post-plant, despite the fact that FaZe, through these 3 rounds, have actually gotten the diffuser down twice. One time they won the round, one time they did not, so it goes, they say. Back on the Monty will be Yuna. No Finka this time, at least not so far through the 3 rounds.
So, FaZe now could be attacking from the balcony once again, but this time onto a different site. It'll be basement. Site that Reciprocity had pretty good success on, thanks to their roam inside of server. Looks like they might commit to that once again. No Jaeger this time, and it's going to be a lot harder for Skies to roam here because of that. The nades and the flashes will really swiftly push him off this position. But he's still going to commit to it, using the cardiac sensor to his
Defender
advantage.
has left the area of operation.
Lack of a Jaeger is going to be a huge advantage for FaZe. They have plenty of smoke to work with. In fact, 3 sets, and that will allow them to pace this attack into server extremely well. Still, again, a slow attack, though.
And that's been FaZe's MO, though.
Yeah, I mean,
FaZe's MO is they don't seem to be able to get their drones working as effectively as they want. They seem to be bamboozled by a lot of this information, which is kind of strange on a CCTV defense, which does tend to play out so similarly.
they're doing their best. They've got control of server, and with decent efficiency, if you've got more than a minute after you get control of server, that's a good job. That's a good job. And I'd say FaZe having a much better round than the last time they were attacking this site.
They're going to open both of these panels, though, which is a bit of a difference. FaZe doesn't usually open the northern panel. They'll open the eastern panel instead, and then just simply sit and wait. This information and cover that is going to be provided by the Pulse is so important. And it's an early tempo being set here. Logic bombs will be raining out on Reciprocity to try and hold them down, but it's going to be a lot of time that gets bought. I believe we also saw a C4 go down and didn't net any targets. Nobody from FaZe's side of things really lost any HP. Still waiting to see if there's going to be an execute at any point. And those smoke canisters, for the time being, are going to get tossed out from Retro. Just to try to choke Yun off, who's lost about half of his HP. This execute's going to happen. But good timing, all things considered, from FaZe. They've used most of Reciprocity's time. They've used most of Reciprocity's utility, and not a lot of tools are left. As hatches being poked at from the Maverick above will keep Reciprocity just simply waiting in sight. Cameraman watching the push up the stairs as the diffuser goes down from FaZe. Oh! A great connect from Skies, takes out Moringa, and just inside of the site is Yuna so low, Astro will need to cover as both Mav and Cameraman pick one up. Astro, great work, but Mark is in! Again! Does he see the plant going down? Yuna finished off. Mark is so clutch. Mav has the control of the mirror window, but Cameraman cut down Mark! The clutch, and it's Retro to finish things off! FaZe struggling so hard to translate anything from action into success on this site. And in the dying seconds, Mark comes in swinging and knocks them all down 2 times on the same site.
So what happened there? FaZe Clan, decent execution. Much better efficiency than any attack we've ever seen from them so far. In fact, on a base level, I would say one of the best attacks from FaZe throughout the day. But they didn't expect Mark to vault over the desk in the middle of sight through the smoke. And he did. He picked up kill after kill. He got the cover. He denied the defuse plant. Then it was easy rotation into server. Once he had control of server, I mean, the round was over. So little time for FaZe to recover. They had the manpower for it, but not the time, as I said. The real question for me is, why did FaZe put so much of their muscle on flank watch and drop down pushes? They needed at least one other person covering from server, and they didn't have that. A serious misallocation of players, and it cost FaZe dearly. Also, again, and it's weird to say because usually the problem for FaZe has been in droning out roamers, but again, a lack of information being relayed on the side of FaZe. A serious communication issue going on for their team. I don't know if you noticed it, Parker, and this happened a while ago, but for a little while, we saw FaZe Clan, a few of their players seem to be having a little bit of an argument. The turned monitors, hey, look what's going on my screen.
Well, Yuna does turn his monitor.
It's true.
When Yuna plays Montaigne, he turns his monitor so that his teammates can see what's going on behind him. And usually where Yuna turns it to is over towards Mav and Moringa's side of things, so Moringa can actually see.
Of course.
So he has that information.
It's absolutely fair, but it seemed as though they were having a bit of a debate, maybe a heated one, because, and that would be in line with what we're seeing right now, because FaZe's attack strategies have been, I mean, the communication is the real issue here. That's the story I'm trying to get at. FaZe Clan are gathering information much better than they had on Coastline. Just curious, considering how much more there is on, how much more there is to clear on Bank, but they're not relaying that information amazingly well.
Yeah, that's the story. And I mean, like I said, if you don't rely on your teammates to be able to help you out, if your entries are not getting the support that they need from drones, if you are not getting the calls that you need, and the usage of utility that they need, you find yourself in a position where it's very easy for that animosity amongst yourself and your opponents, and your teammates to fester and let your opponents collapse in on that. There's a missed C4, by the way, as Skies looks like he's all but dead inside a CEO. I think Yuno is looking to possibly get it, finish it off with a frag grenade kill, but this is a great entry for FaZe. They take out Foxe. They don't really need that much information to relay, as Astra playing on Banana can possibly walk right in. Skies is still there. Oh! And essentially from the grave, Skies will take him down, but I don't know what you're doing. Maybe trying to check his phone, I'm not entirely sure, but Skies gets felled by Astro, and it'll be a pickup on the cameraman. FaZe, man, they recover quite well there.
Yeah, they're starting to get things in line. That was a very good attack onto the top floor. We don't know if it's the internal strife or if it's just been poor communication so far, but that round was stellar. It's not over yet, though. Laxing's still on the roam. It's just horizontal. He'll be playing an open area, likely with a rotation back into archives. This makes sense, especially considering now that the attackers have control vertically, they're going to start opening up a lot of holes above. And if you can play offsite, you can still deny the plant. Rotation is actually going to be by the main stairs, and that's less of a rotation, more of a murder hole. From that angle, he can deny the plant inside of Tellers, allowing his teammates to defend mainly archives.
I know that Laxing likes to play this lone wolf role on his teams, but he really needs to be able to get back at some point. You can't keep him on this dedicated flank watch while everyone's dying around him. Poor Retro's going to be all on his lonesome now. for a couple seconds. This is a lockout from FaZe for the time being. It's a perfect round. Laxing will not be able to take one down, and FaZe finds some momentum that they really, really need to get themselves back in this game. They still trail Reciprocity. Rec will at least walk away with 3 of the 6 rounds on defense, as it's a successful win for FaZe on Tellers, and we'll go towards the very final site for Team Reciprocity's first defense.
Looks like it's going to be Tellers once again from Reciprocity. So, that last round mainly came down to the ease of access FaZe had to the top floor. There was a lack of utility investment from Reciprocity, allowing for some soft destruction and 2 free kills essentially upstairs because those 2 players on the roam on the top floor were caught off guard. Not expecting the aggression that FaZe were dishing out, and as FaZe took full advantage, Reciprocity fell by the wayside. The anchors were suffering. Why? Because vertical control was lost. As soon as you learn that lose that vertical control on this site, pretty much ends the round, especially if you're relying primarily on the anchors. And Reciprocity certainly were. All they had as far as roaming goes was Laxing, and it just wasn't enough. He didn't have enough access to the site as well. There was no rotation between archives and small office. Not a great setup there for Reciprocity. They need to invest heavier in the top floor, and I think hold it a lot firmer. A Mira would be a good option here, I think, to hold this site, but they're not going to commit to that. Going full fragger. They've got the Ella, the Vigil,
5 seconds left.
dedicated fragging operators. They've got the Pulse as their solo information op, unless you count the Guzmats. Some people do, some people don't.
Oh, hello.
This is a spawn peek as well. The aggression from Reciprocity is kind of ridiculous, and oh, the timing there. He would have gotten that kill. Camera did not check it until he already saw it was open. So that would have been a free kill there from Skies. It's one of those ones, or pardon me, Mark. It's one of those ones where when you look back and you see the VOD, you're like, oh no, whoops.
Trying to buy some time with the Taze on the Foxe's castle. Foxe enjoys the UMP very much, so it makes very I was going to say very little sense to put him on another operator. It makes a lot of sense as he's the Invisigun, a new equipment that has been unlocked.
He fixed it.
There you go. He had the Vigil gun. It's okay. Skies on Vigil is also something that is kind of strange because we haven't seen him run it in a while. It used to be one of his mainstays when he was back on Counter Logic and sometimes on Obey as well.
I think we were seeing Laxing playing the Vigil, and he's on Ella instead.
There's been an awful lot of flexibility. Look at the Pulse on Mark.
Yeah.
You've seen Laxing play Pulse. You've seen Foxe play Pulse. And Reciprocity's ability to just change up which operators they use is an advantage.
It certainly is.
So, back to Tellers we go. And this setup that we have on the soft wall by main stairs is very common. I don't think Laxing got droned as he manages to take out some of the intel that is going to be available to FaZe Clan. And drone usage from FaZe.
Uh-oh.
Mark.
What are you doing, Mark?
Mark! Hello?
A huge mistake, and FaZe is going to take full advantage. They have control of Archives. Retro's going to get a double piece, though, on the entry, and a third for Retro. What a hold out of Archives. He's finally shut down by Astro, but the damage is done. It's a 2v2 as Cameraman eliminates FAZE elsewhere. Laxing can rotate back, but he doesn't know the plant is happening. What are you doing, Laxing? Go for a retake. Cameraman gets his second on Skies. It's Laxing behind now, the attacker. He can potentially go for the disable. Vertical control from Camera is probably going to be an easy denial, but nobody's paying attention. Camera goes for a drop, and Astro's going to shut down Laxing, and a great timing there from FaZe to seize control of Archives and take the round, ending our half 3-3.
Man, that was vintage Skies and Laxing.
Yeah.
That reminds me of so many Elevate and CLG games where Skies and Laxing are not connected to anybody on site. The site push happens, your support players call for help, and there's no cover at all. And that's exactly what happened there. But keep in mind that overall, Reciprocity is playing as a much tighter unit than we have seen from previous teams that both Skies and Laxing have been on. However, like I said, there's so many matches where Skies and Laxing are just off somewhere in essentially La La Land. But the map control they held wasn't really consequential.
As many bombs as they can.
And they end up falling in that particular round. Now, Bank is a map that has become more defender-sided over time, as is everything, as you note regularly. A 3-3 split, I would say, probably benefits FaZe more than anything.
Certainly does. I think that last round, the information gathering was the real flaw for Reciprocity. I mean, Mark was the primary information tool, and what was he doing? He walked into square, completely exposed, not knowing that they had already lost control of it. I don't know what was going on there for Reciprocity, but lucky for them, they don't have to defend again. They're going to get to go on to attack, and it'll be FaZe's turn. I say lucky, but again, yeah, you're right. Ending a half 3-3, FaZe is in the driver's seat here for this map. At least for now.
At least conventional wisdom, which has not been so conventional this weekend, seems to suggest.
Yeah, exactly. No. We discussed it many times. It's hard to predict these things. Reciprocity going to be taking into the main lobby. They have to clear out the top 2 floors before they hit the bottom one. And that's going to start with droning. You can see Mark the Shark doing that for Skies. FAZE as well. Laxing, a third droner. Got Retro even on the top floor. The only one moving in right now is Skies.
Fearless.
Yeah, and he's making it work. I mean, he's got control of the entire top 2 floors, and it took them a minute.
Who's on cams here? There you go. Astro was watching the cam to see if somebody was going to push on up, and Mav is also on the cardiac sensor to give Astro information. Skies is going to make very quick work of what little utility was situated over by the top of server stairs. 2 ADSs, it appears there might be a third, obscured by the casing around the rifle. That is in the hands of Astro, his position given away, and there's Laxing at any moment to possibly pull out the lifeline and aid his teammate. Skies falls off. So the Ash will forego the conflict on the stairs. And the ADSs will get burned, trying to get maximum usage out of that lifeline. Looks like Astro has also fallen off. So everybody basically looked like they were going to push onto server stairs. They've fallen apart.
We're seeing Retro actually opening up the elevator drop. This might go unnoticed. It's entirely possible. Depends on the positioning, but no, it will be noticed. Thank you, Yuna, for being positioned where he was. He should call that out, and it should be a known factor for FaZe. They also, because of that, should defend against it. But I don't know if he noticed it. He was in a position to do so, but I am not 100% sure. Mark's going to start droning himself in here through that elevator drop. He could come up from behind FaZe if they aren't holding the drop down. We'll see. Jones going to go into B, but does not notice the player there on main stairs. It's going to be the Jaeger spotted out by Skies, and that could be a free kill if he decides to make the play. It will be the other way around. Astro takes down Skies with an aggressive push despite the knowledge that Skies had.
If somebody had been running Skies in, that's almost a guaranteed kill. There's going to be another now. Astro just making life miserable for Reciprocity on the main stairs. It's 2 kills for the Jaeger, and he will continue his victory lap. FAZE unable to make it through the window as his hurdle is cut down at the knees. Astro picks up his third as Moringa had gotten one previously. And, well, Laxing in a lot of trouble. Drop through the hatch will likely be an attempt in vain. And there you go. He hits the deck. And Yuna sits him down even further. FaZe will take their very first lead here on Bank And in fact, their very first lead of this series. It comes at a pretty good time.
Wow, Reciprocity, some serious mistakes being made there. Skies, I'm sure he's saying something along the lines of what you were just mentioning. If somebody had been droning Skies in main stairs, Jaeger would have been shut down. The round would have been way in Reciprocity's favor, but a lack of droning is the flaw for Reciprocity. It's the same thing we saw same mistake we saw being made by FaZe in the previous half, and now being repeated here from Reciprocity. They didn't also drone into B. They checked B, but no drone went into B, allowing for a free kill for Moringa, just proning underneath the double window. That's pretty easy. So yeah, Reciprocity thinking they had a window there, and it was not a window of opportunity, but a window to death, and they lost the round because of that. CEO, the next defense here, very likely for FaZe Clan, and that'll be your standard split. Winning the basement, again, is something you should be doing on Bank. Should be doing. So it's not exactly the end of the world for Reciprocity, but I agree with the tactical timeout timing from Reciprocity here.
I agree. Try to center yourself. Don't allow the momentum to build on FaZe's side of things. I think it was a mistake that FaZe didn't use theirs in the first map on Coastline.
We talked about that, yeah. It was
did, and I think
bad.
that, whether they gave up or not, still not ideal. You have it. There's no penalty in using it. Just use it. Just use the timeout,
This is interesting. Trading one information op for another. It'll be a pulse into a clash.
Locked in.
Very curious. The pulse has been useful for both teams throughout this match. Not amazingly so. Not getting a bunch of C4 kills from below and whatnot, but he has been very useful here on Bank, and we haven't seen the clash yet, but there's potential for the same to happen. Again, clash is an information op. One of the many information ops on the defensive side, and she can put your team in a good position.
Latin America,
play her, right?
Latin America in particular really likes using her.
Yeah, it's true.
Saw Ninjas in Pajamas run her a couple times.
There's no SMG.
Oh, that's
got to be a mistake.
There's no harm in using it, Astro.
Yeah,
Astro.
One of the things we've been talking about actually through this tournament is that Clash is getting more play. Why is she getting more play? Because her SMG is amazing now. Like, it's one of the best SMG sidearms, period. It's got little to no recoil, kills quite efficiently.
Decent damage,
high rate of fire. So
she's got a shield on her back, so she's at least invulnerable from one position.
Yeah, if she's got the SMG out. But the pistol, it's a good pistol, I'm not going to lie. It's got a great optic, but
it's an okay gun. It's just in my opinion, the SMG is better.
It's kind of objective.
In every way, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the past. One of the most relevant stats in this game, probably in terms of gun balance, the most relevant stat is rate of fire. And I don't know. Anyway, that's just an aside. We'll move on. Curious from Astro, I'm guessing it was a mistake. Like he didn't check
probably, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't check his loadout.
One of those things where you're like, oh, okay.
Whoops.
It was when Wog, all the way back when Wog was on Glass and he had the other pistol that I always forget the name of because don't use it. Use the PMM.
Well, I mean, both are good. One's got a lot of ammo, the other one does a lot of damage. Reciprocity in the main lobby real fast here.
A minute on in, you can start eating away at the utility that's going to be at the top of the main stairs. Mav goes down to Laxing. Say goodbye to your Maestro, say goodbye to the cams, say goodbye to the ability to move them in any meaningful direction. It also looks like the castle barricades that were set up by Yuna have all been taken out too. That's good usage of utility here, and Yuna just unable to win a slugfest against Skies on the main stairs. Reciprocity has good control, as you said. Excellent timing to get into the lobby. They circled around the top the stairs, looking all the way to the lobby, and now they got control of Banana. And ironic that a Banana will be ran on the gun as well. So Fox A literally has control of Banana with a Banana for scale. Not too far off.
Bulletproof camera is going to be very useful in calling this out, but of course, easily dispatched. Clash's primary function as a shield will not be what you need here. The pistol from Astro takes out Skies. He doesn't need an SMG, but he's punished, but on low HP, and as a shield, that is terrible. It's still a power advantage for Reciprocity, despite that flank being successful from the shield because of the HP. Speaking of which, Moringa will be down, likely by Fox A. Astro finished off, and it's just Cameraman as Moringa goes with him. Cameraman's on a long flank, though. Nobody's watching this. It could be an easy one. He takes down the defuse holder. Going for a second. Smokes to cover. We still have Laxing on rappel. The C4 looks like it might land, but no! A perfect dodge there from Fox A. Cameraman's trying his best to play this but the smokes are still in from FAZE. Laxing still on cover. He's got calls from the cameras, and the marks are coming out constantly. Another one for, no! Cameraman, the low damage, he doesn't down FAZE. A terrible result from that engagement, but the follow-up will eliminate Laxing, who repelled into the building. FAZE going for the plant. Looks like he's gonna get it down, but in a bad spot. No! Cameraman, what a clutch! FAZE take the round! A beautiful play! No commitment from Reciprocity, and they will lose every 1v1 against Camera.
So poorly played there by Reciprocity. Excellently played by FAZE to be able to have the marks through those Evil Eye cams. You lose Mav early on, okay, but you still have his gadget persisting. They can see through the smokes. You got 3 bodies from Reciprocity. Put 1 person on a drone. Figure out where Cameraman is. He's at 3 armor. He's not exactly a stealthy guy. So what do? You just commit to 1v1v1s. And nobody seemed to know where Cameraman was. Cameraman doesn't even really play Mira, but he makes it work. A beautiful first shot, starts that ball rolling, and nobody bothers to stop it from Reciprocity. That is a massive confidence boost from FAZE, and more importantly, has blunted any level of momentum that Reciprocity thought that they would have from taking that tactical timeout and regrouping. It's a tilter, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Really well played by FAZE overall to be able to take that round, based on what essentially was an almost unwinnable situation. In a 1v3, with utility still on the board, good guns, and information that could have aided Reciprocity. It was a stumble from one team and a capitalization from the other, and it was the perfect storm for FAZE to be able to take that round.
10 seconds
Excellent clutch from Camera.
Yes.
Period. I mean, there's something to be said about the fact that he only got the 1v1s, but winning so many subsequent 1v1s, that's an impressive feat. And, yeah, well done to him. I do think Reciprocity played that pretty poorly. They had a lot of other options. For example, the Jackal at any time could have just picked up the diffuser and planted deep in sight, far away from the Mira, behind cover. But instead, and Laxing could have stayed on North Repel. Honestly, he could have. He didn't need to come in. Plant goes down, under cover of smoke. Laxing still on the Repel. It's an unlosable situation for Team Reciprocity. But instead, they try to commit to 1v1 fights, one after another. Maybe a little bit too much confidence on the side of Team Reciprocity. They've been winning a lot of their gunfights, so it makes sense. But whatever the case be, poorly played there from Team Reciprocity. And they're going to have to change the mindset moving forward, because as you said, that is a tilter. That's an argument starter. And hopefully for Reciprocity and their fans, we won't have any of that going on right now.
Here's the thing, too, that Reciprocity has always struggled with, is that you have control and you don't get the plant down. That's it, right? You have control of sight. I know you don't know where Cameraman is, but you got 2 bodies to possibly try to look. Why are you taking so long to go in? You know that it's a mirror. You know that the Vector has a very small magazine.
Drones up and running.
I mean, I don't know. I think that was the wrong call to hesitate. But it's a good start yet again for Reciprocity, and more marks will come in to try and enable FAZE to capitalize on a second kill as he starts with number 1, taking out Cameraman, whose clutch is repaid by an early grave. Lots of time for him to just sit on the sidelines of this round in particular. It's a lead for FAZE, and they will stretch it if they win this round to match point. Propel us towards Consulate as map number 3, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done by FAZE here. CCTV will be opened up after this round, so a possibility of FAZE being able to go down to the one site that has been perfect for the defenders so far. 3 plays, 3 successful defenses.
Mav's in a really powerful position. He can use his C4 through that drop down. Meanwhile, Astro's going to eliminate Skies, so back to even man count. Yuna's on low HP, but Mav could potentially pay this back and then some if he plays it right. Astro gets his second, eliminating FAZE. Astro has single-handedly retaken the top floor. Retro's still up here, whether he knows it or not, but already 2 bodies on the floor. It's a successful late roam, period. Retro's looking the wrong way. He could be the next victim, but no, it's going to be Retro coming out on top. Astro looking through the holes made by the attackers. Reciprocity are back in it, but again, not an easy take. Lots of utility in hand for FAZE, counterplant, and such.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Off-site, going to be 2 of the FAZE players, but they can deny from the main stairs. Mav is going to take out Mark, Retro onto Yuna. It's back and forth with these teams, but Laxing an excellent shot on a Moringa inside of Archives, leaving just Mav with no C4. He missed it earlier, and he's going to have to come back to site. The question is, where's the plant going down, and will he have time? It's going to be very close with the Legion Trap, and he's planting an exposed position. Mav could deny it. Depends on how the cover is for Laxing. It's going down, though, and Mav's not going to be able to get it in time. Now he has to retake onto a 1 versus 2, but he checks the wrong angles. Laxing locks him out, and Reciprocity will take that attack.
Once again, what ended up happening in that round?
Efficient roam clear.
No, almost no plant again for Reciprocity.
I mean, it was a slow plant, yeah, but it was also an efficient roam clear to allow for the plant. I mean,
the fact that Astro retook, there was an end.
It won the round.
The start of Reciprocity's push there was pretty good. Fox A walks in and takes out Cameraman. Astro gets spotted. Fox A is there. He's a Jackal. You can track him. There's drones. You can continue to track him. But then Astro somehow manages to evade all of it and come back, as you said. Good counterplay from FaZe. The mid-round was a bit of a struggle for Reciprocity. Both teams lost some. And then when you look at the very final dying seconds, once again, you clear sight. You have no idea where Mav is because Reciprocity, yet again, doesn't realize they have site control. So it's been the story for Reciprocity so far through most of this tournament, too. They just don't know that they have control.
I mean, they've had some of the best roam clear in this whole tournament, and they're kind of leaning heavily into that. They won the round, so I guess that's all that really matters. But they also would have won that last round if they had done, as you were saying, just went for the plant. So this would be a match point situation with FaZe Clan. Pardon me, not match point, but we would reversal scores with FaZe Clan in a 4-5 situation rather than the 5-4 situation they have right now. But yeah, there's a distinct lack of focus on the objective. I agree with you. It cost Reciprocity once. It almost cost them again there. There's a slow retake from Mav, though. Needed to commit a little bit harder to denying the plant. All said and done, though, I think it's something that Reciprocity will need to work on moving forward. Maybe find themselves a dedicated planter, as many teams have. Think about Goga from G2, for example.
Reload! CCI plant.
CCI plant, yeah.
Quite literally. Like I said yesterday,
Reciprocity needs a Goga.
I feel like he's like a cyborg.
Yeah, because Goga also frags. And Reciprocity, they've got the fragging down. They need somebody who can play the objective.
All right. Round number 10 will leave us with 2 more after this unless we go to overtime or unless things finish up here. And once again, it's been a quick entry for Reciprocity to take control of lobby, to be able to get control of that most of that second floor, it would appear. And with like many teams will do, FaZe is going to use their 2 off-site presences on the server stairs and then 1 down inside of server as well.
They should be able to win this server hold, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Bank has a site that is now also big enough for 5 people to play it.
Yeah. Last time we saw server defense here from FaZe, it was an excellent play from the Jaeger to make the push up the main stairs, though, and I don't think that's going to happen again.
And it looks like Mark is actually droning in Skies, but Skies goes on to drone as well. White, Laxing is there too. He got 3 drones now. They realize that Skies droning himself in on these stairs, Michael.
They're over droning now.
They're over droning. It's like they say, over drone, under deliver. I don't know. See if Skies can capitalize, but now he's droning himself in. As 2 bodies are spotted through the wall, reinforced, so you can't really do much to shoot either of them. Skies is prone to a possible jump out. They both get spotted as Mav retreats from the server side over towards gold. Good position to be in.
Get a lot more thorough on this drone work, and they're going to have a lot of information in the site because of that.
Moringa doesn't really have a way out at the moment. He's going to have to hope that somebody on his team can just trade him off, because Moringa's lying just completely on his back watching the garage.
No one's covering the cross from main stairs either. Skies could flash Moringa, run into B, and take out Moringa, easy peasy. Astro would probably refrag it, but it could be a really important entry.
Cameraman was in a position where he possibly could have tried to hold that doorway, but now he's distracted by Laxing. So Reciprocity don't know once again. They have this info. Mark takes out Astro and Moringa is prone. Is Mark going to be able to see the smoke? No, he gets the wrong call and Moringa pops up and down goes Mark. As Skies felled on main stairs will swing the pendulum back towards FaZe. This Cameraman still playing in garage as Yuna picks up kill number 2 on the Retro, and Reciprocity will now struggle as Laxing will have to work against a long angle. He has an ACOG available, playing around that pillar. Fox A inside a vault looking for a kill of his own, but the diffuser is down and they are just frantically trying to do anything This is a lockout. FaZe takes the round. Match point for the Brazilians. And Michael, we are looking almost assured of a third map between these two teams.
I absolutely love that the man winning these rounds on the basement defense for FaZe is Moringa. And how is he doing it? It's prone underneath the window. Yep. Prone underneath a window that Team Reciprocity know he is playing prone underneath. It's a predictable position and one that should not work, but somehow it is tripping up Reciprocity. The supporting cast around Moringa, though, is also a huge factor. As every time somebody from Team Reciprocity focuses on taking out that smoke, it's somebody else to play the off angle from FaZe and lock out the support from Reciprocity. It's a really good hold, all things considered, from FaZe, and it's curious that it's working not only because of the way Moringa's playing it, but also the way that Reciprocity's attacking it. We don't usually see back takes on the basement, going through the drop downs from main lobby and the elevator. It's a bit of an oddity.
When we do, it's usually a full commitment. It usually involves dual hard breachers to be able to take out all the hatches that are necessary, drop through vault, take control of vault, ensure that if there's somebody playing in gold, which usually will be a pulse, gets spotted, and then you just fully commit to it, take D. And I think the way the setup from FaZe was, they read that it was going to be more of a vault take, and that's why Mav was recalled over towards gold, because the bodies didn't line up for Reciprocity over by the server stairs. At that point, when you're halfway through the round, you realize, hey, they're probably not coming from this direction any longer. So let's move our resources. It was a good read by FaZe, the right call to make, ultimately in hindsight.
I think Reciprocity could do with maybe some late flanks. There's potential for it, but that basement attack has looked pretty bad for Reciprocity both times, and I'm not sure it's going to matter in the long run. We'll see who knows. We might not even see another defense at the basement from FaZe Clan, the way that this is looking.
I feel like the late flank is Laxing's job, though, too, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's coming from the garage, but it hasn't been working out. His timing on the garage has been pretty bad. Not necessarily his fault, possibly a problem of communication, but also FaZe Clan playing that pretty well in the basement, I have to say. The Maestro always getting away with his life.
I mean, you don't have a Valkyrie available, so you're likely going to either have a mirror window or an Evil Eye cam. Or
they had an Evil Eye, yeah.
Yeah, and they had the Maestro as well of Cameraman playing in Garage. So Garage is never going to be free either.
He got it with the Sophia, but it wasted so much of Lax's
Well, it gave Cameraman's position away, which is what Skies could have possibly pushed Moringa, but I don't think there was just any information whatsoever. Now, there's a Jackal track going on to Astra, who's playing inside of that elevator on the second floor. 2 ADSs are also there. And it doesn't look like any of them are getting burned out because none of these throwables from Reciprocity are going in that direction. There's a Nitro cell waiting to take out a smattering of Reciprocity players, and there's Astro, who's finally been seen and spotted. Remember, he was getting Jackal tracked, so they know he's in there. Could pop out at any moment. He's going to give his position away with a preemptive fire, and he's got the hatch open. He'll drop. Now he can begin to ascend up those stairs. This could be a great flank for Astro if nobody is watching.
That drop was isolated, and then Team Reciprocity left it. That's a huge misplay from Reciprocity, and Astro's now coming from behind in the main lobby. He has marks, and he's gonna miss Mark himself! What a shot from the Shark! Astro goes down, the flank denied, and now Reciprocity are in a great spot. And we have 45 seconds to make this attack happen. They don't have any soft destruction from Skies any longer. Sophia could potentially still have some lifeline, though, available. Yuno playing in Meeting Hall. He's got those marks. Lots of information. Exothermic charge here on the solo hard wall. A wide peek from Yuna, and he's not spotted in this play. But he gets knifed from Foxe entering into Meeting Hall, who has now full control as he gets another one on the Mav. Cameraman going for the refrags. He's done it once before. Can he do it again? Gets one. Retro, though, under Moringa, leaving Cameraman in an ace clutch situation. Or it will be Reciprocity's round, and it's going to be denied. Foxe with another frag. What a round from him and Reciprocity to take their CEO take.
I was wondering if we were going to see lightning strike twice there with Cameraman being able to clutch again. But the odds were not in his favor, and especially when we saw the allergies that Reciprocity has when it comes to planting the diffuser with full site control alleviated, at least for this particular moment.
Took their meds.
They did take their meds, indeed. So a moment of clarity, if we can say, for Reciprocity to be able to get plant down successfully. And when you're in a 1v4, you know that there's a very high likelihood that somebody, surely somebody, is going to be able to cover you. You think the same of a 1v3. There was a massive amount of utility that was utilized by FaZe to stop Reciprocity from transitioning from the top of the main stairs into Banana into that office and then towards the site. Bit of a buffer zone that was established. 2 ADSs that were inside of the elevator that Astro was sitting in. I don't think a single one of those ADS charges were burned.
Bit of a waste.
It was a bit of a waste because I think that FaZe was anticipating that Reciprocity would have fully committed to clearing out the elevator. But instead, they punished the player in there by ignoring them, isolating them, and Mark hit an incredible shot, let's be honest, onto Astro in a fight that Astro really should have ended up winning.
Yeah, Astro was in a good position there. Mark was playing general flank watch,
10 seconds remaining.
but that's a little bit unsafe. Again, if Mark had just been sitting in the elevator where he knew a player to be above him, he could have just taken out Jaeger when he fell down, but he won the fight. That's all that really matters in the end. So well played to Team Reciprocity, covering all their bases. Foxy on the entry into Meeting Hall. Beautiful. Seriously. I am surprised by how little control FaZe Clan had over Meeting Hall. I think it had to do with what Yuna was trying to do in that Meeting Hall as the castle. Bit of a misplay. He was playing around the exothermic charge. He heard it being planted, and he positioned himself poorly. Also, he lost control over the doorway of Meeting, allowing for easy kills for Foxy. This is also cool. I mean, Jackal left unbanned. It's worth noting that FaZe did ban Jackal in the previous map.
Reciprocity's used a Jackal every round with Foxy, right?
Yeah, and Reciprocity now gets to play Jackal. They really do like Jackal. It helps them on the roam clear. It's one of their primary information operators for the attacking side. So it's funny that FaZe ban Jackal on Coastline, but not on Bank of all maps. I mean, the Habana ban makes sense for the basement, but still.
It seems like a Jackal ban on Bank is pretty common for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, you don't say.
Not really the case here. All 3 of the castle barricades, we transitioned in towards what's on our screen at the moment, of FaZe Clan, were used on Banana. The 4 windows that are there, 3 of them have been castle barricaded. You lose one, the soft destruction that Reciprocity has. There's also 2 ADSs in that doorway to prevent a possible push. The mirror window that was aiding cameraman is gone, and Foxy, expecting a rush out from conference, will try to light somebody up. There's nobody on the other side of it. He'll be on surveillance, as there's a bulletproof camera. Logic bombs will try and keep everybody in place from FaZe. Foxy is just the spearhead at the moment. Heading on in, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody that is dumb enough to try and peek C7E. But for the time being, no. Nobody coming close.
Yuna again on this position. He's got a broken mirror window to play with, and he's going to lose some HP in that engagement. Sky's droning him out. Foxy on the long angles trying to poke some holes in this defense. Nothing happening yet, though, for Reciprocity, despite having control of reception already.
Yeah. And it looks like we might be in a stalemate right now. As C4 goes out, Sky's bottom fragging for his team will need to find some motivation. And he just might, as both Cameraman and Astro will come back. If there's nobody on flank watch, this can get bad real fast, and there isn't! Cameraman grabs 2! No one's watching, and the blind spot is exploited as now Astro tags himself in. And FaZe have everything working in their disposal. Down goes Laxing, and Skies will need to perform a miracle in order to send his team to overtime. Only 15 seconds left, and there will be a tense moment to see what Skies is able to accomplish. He doesn't have that diffuser. He's just gonna sit and wait. You have the match on the line. Do you do anything? Do you bother to push it? Doesn't appear so. No, it will be an anticlimactic finish, and they will hand FaZe the map, and we will barrel on towards Consulate for these 2 teams. And Michael, it was as close as we predicted, even though for a time being, it didn't really look like it was going to be.
So, would have been nice to have Mark in main lobby, huh?
Would have been nice to have a
flank watch.
It would have been nice to have flank watch.
That's what I mean. Mark held on to the flank in the last time they attacked to CEO through main lobby. And it worked out great for Reciprocity. No flank watch? Well, FaZe says no problem. We'll take full advantage and end the round in a flurry. So that was a pretty bad execution for Reciprocity. Everything onto the site was working out great for them. But yeah, a lack of a flank watch, you really can't. an unforgivable mistake and one that really cost them.
I feel like a lot of teams don't really run Claymores when they're attacking CEO. In fact, there's very little Claymores that get ran anywhere outside of a CCTV attack.
I mean, I understand. Like, a Claymore would be useful, I suppose. It would be a sound cue. They'd know somebody's coming from behind. But I seriously think that it would have been easy for Reciprocity to just put one person behind. Here's the thing. It's easy to do that late flank as a defender, too, because there's so many drop downs available to you when defending a CEO. You can just fall down, come through tellers, and hey, you're there. So that was just a mistake of understanding from Team Reciprocity, and FaZe took full advantage. Enough said. Yeah. They also, this is really big. We've neglected to mention this, but Reciprocity have been exceptionally stale on their strategy throughout all of Bank. They've run every single time the same strategy, no matter where they're attacking or defending. And it's become predictable for FaZe, or it became predictable, which is evident by the 7-5 scoreline in FaZe's favor.
Yeah. I was really taken aback by how poor the executes were from FaZe, and then I figured, okay, Reciprocity, they're switching sides. Yeah, you're probably going to imagine that the defense are going to do better on Bank, just simply with the way that things are trending, with usually, at least 3 rounds going to the defense, which would set us up for overtime. And it came very close to that. It was a 3-2 for FaZe heading into that very final round, and FaZe ended up sticking the landing very effectively. But man, the executes weren't necessarily always the issue with Reciprocity. Yes, there is an underlying issue with this team to be able to realize and acknowledge that they have the control of the site to be able to get the plant down. But, counterpoint, their flank watch has been pretty respectable through most of these matchups. And on the round where you needed it the most, it just wasn't there.
I don't think it's the flank watch that is the problem. I mean, yeah, it cost them that last round and the map and potentially the match.
Right.
But I think for Reciprocity, it's the staleness of their strategy, because everything from FaZe there was set up to hold a main lobby take in CEO. So, yeah, and held it, they did. It was a well-established strategy from FaZe, and Reciprocity, again, so predictable there, which is odd for them.
It is. So we'll see on Consulate, one of the best maps for Reciprocity, and not a bad map for FaZe either, typically, but we have another break to send you, so go get some water, etc. And we'll come back with our third and final map between FaZe and Reciprocity to determine which team will make it out of Group A onto the main stage on Friday. Welcome back to our third and final map of our very first matchup of our very final day of group stages. I'm Intero, this is Kickstar. Hopefully you've been enjoying as spirited a match as this has been between both FaZe and Reciprocity. We predicted that it would probably go all the way, and well, would you look at that? We're here on map number 3.
Yeah, no surprises there, to be honest, with a matchup like FaZe versus Reciprocity. Both of these teams really carrying so much weight internationally. Now, we've seen some pretty lopsided results here. Reciprocity managing to win that first map 7-1 was a very impressive feat. It was closer than the 7-1 scoreline obviously tells us, and that FaZe came within inches of winning some of those rounds, but honestly, they lost that map.
Yes.
Hands down. I mean, we talked about it. It seemed almost as if FaZe had given up. The lack of a timeout really screams that. Then on Bank, I mean, a back and forth, but it looked like Reciprocity were about to mount a comeback and bring us to OT in the final round. But it ended 7-5 thanks to some great flanking from FaZe and a well-established defense to hold on from the CEO take that had been so predictable and used every single time on that site from Reciprocity. Now going to Consulate. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting map. I personally feel strongly that it will lean the direction of Reciprocity based solely on how we've been seeing these two teams play. And that, I mean, between Coastline and Bank, which map has more similarities with Consulate? Very much Coastline. Very, very much Coastline. And we saw how dominant that was in Reciprocity's favor. Right. I would not be surprised if it went all the way to overtime, but going into this, I feel as though Reciprocity will have an edge, assuming, this is a big assumption, they don't let their mind run astray. So here we have the stats here for Consulate on your screen. Of course, as you can see, Reciprocity going into this, seemingly having a huge advantage, not only based on their playstyle, but also based on these stats right here.
Yeah. And it's been statistically the best map in all of the map pool of Reciprocity, just period. And, you know, they come in and against FaZe, man, it's... I mean, Bank was unpredictable. Let's be a little honest with that. Bank was unpredictable. Coastline was unpredictable as well. 7-1 in favor of Reciprocity. In no world did I think it was going to be that lopsided. I thought we were going to see probably 10 of the 12 rounds needed in all 3 maps between these two teams. But all that momentum that was accumulated by Reciprocity in map number 1, they take Coastline 7-1. They look very good in the process of doing so. They've got the wind at their back. But where do they go for Bank? They sputter. They take a 3-1 lead on defense and then drop all but 2 rounds to allow FaZe to take the map.
Reciprocity has started on defense for every single map in the series. That's not an advantage to be scoffed at, to be honest with you. Dokkaebi going to be starting off here on the bans. I really like that ban from Reciprocity, by the way. Blackbeard as well going to be gone. A curious one from FaZe, but sensible on a map like Consulate. We've talked about this in the past. Consulate is by far and away the best map for Blackbeard. The Dokkaebi ban is because of Retro's amazing play with Dokkaebi. Last time that we saw Reciprocity on Consulate, what Retro was doing with Dokkaebi was pretty awesome. So he would repel on CEO window, and he would cut off either the roamers on the entire west side of the top floor, or he would poke holes in the defense of the anchors on that top floor when the defenders are upstairs. Overall, though, that being disabled is going to be a huge advantage for FaZe, and Reciprocity will have to fill that gap with another operator, and it's not going to be Blackbeard because it's been banned out by FaZe. It's curious that Reciprocity banned their own Dokkaebi. I mean, I get it because Dokkaebi's been a good tool for both teams, but at the same time, I would have loved to have seen it from them.
Here's why. It forces FaZe to take another set of smokes.
It's true. And they've been taking a lot of sets of smokes. I mean, we saw a couple rounds on Bank where they had 3.
Yeah, and I mean, that's because you'd use Dokkaebi. That's because you'd use the Montaigne. But Montaigne is not an operator that we see FaZe use a lot on Consulate. Yeah. Maybe Finka, sure. Maybe Buck, sure. But you've got 2 frag grenades. You don't have any smokes on those operators. All right, so what next? Well, you look at FaZe's lineup. They have 0 smokes now. Almost assured that if you don't put that Dokkaebi ban in place, that Astro is going to be playing Dokkaebi. You're going to have the annoyance of her 2 logic bombs, and then additionally, you're going to have her 2 smokes as well.
There.
That's a tool that is now off the board. It will force FaZe to have to play differently. Possibly bringing a Capitao, possibly bringing a Monte, or a Blitz.
There's also something to be said about the predictability of what Retro had been doing on those west windows.
Yes.
In the fact that it's been broadcasted now that it's on VOD, guarantee you FaZe has watched every VOD from Reciprocity at this tournament so far, leading into this match, and vice versa. So, yeah, may as well ban it out. It was a great tool. It's no longer an option. Now, defending the middle floor. Curious to start with. It's going to result in easy picks for Camera. He's in sight. Arc goes down along with Skies. The plant is going down as well, thanks to Moringa. A 3K for Cameraman. And down goes Retro to Mav. It's all up to Laxing. He'll get his first kill onto Mav, but it's not going to be enough. hit by a lifeline from the Zofia, and he's just trying to relocate, trying to find a better angle, but it's going to be quite difficult. Going to Spiral, and the time is ticking away on this diffuser. He's shut down by Cameraman, a 4K in this round, and what an entry from FaZe.
He earns the number at the end of his name. And FaZe read the tea leaves and say, okay, we've got it. This is going to work well for us. Let's just take control. And the opposite of what Reciprocity tends to do, which is take control of the site and not know it, FaZe takes control without Reciprocity knowing it. A very swift plant, and FaZe on a good starting point here on Consulate. Now, Michael, if I recall correctly, you denoted yesterday that Consulate tends to be one of the more defender-sided maps in the entire pool. I could be wrong. It's been a long weekend. Or a week, actually, technically.
Yeah, it has been a long week, hasn't it, Parker? I mean, all things added in. So it's definitely a defender-sided map. As we've discussed, all of them are. This is not the most, but it's up there. It's 56% defender-sided. It's also the most played map in recent history for Siege. So that is worth noting. 16 times recent history. But yeah, very defender-sided map generally. 56% is kind of in the middle, though. I mean, it's upper middle. And that's 56% defense wins. Anyway, moving on.
But Reciprocity's going back to lobby.
They are going back to lobby. It's very odd. I mean, okay, think about it like this, Parker. I see the logic here. I'm sure you will too. I mean, we lost because the enemy rushed into site. We didn't lose because our setup was bad. We just weren't paying attention. We can correct this. I don't necessarily blame Reciprocity for doing this. It's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
They're just not going to fall victim to what FaZe did last time. Now we get to see what it's going to look like when FaZe actually used as a clear strategy, one step at a time instead of a rush, and Reciprocity's prepared for that. So it'll be basically a different round. At least I would imagine so.
Yeah, FaZe is completely handling this differently. They're taking admin, and then they're going into copy and break room, and then they will probably move up to printer, and then they'll move up to long desk and go from there. There was just a lot of blind spots for Reciprocity on that defense, and they're going to obviously make sure that doesn't exist this time around. That's why you have the mute jammers deprive the information from FaZe. That's why you have the Legion Mines to be able to alert you to somebody pushing from that direction.
Camera going to be repelling into admin office, but he's behind the rest of his teammates as he was droning for them. There's a lot of players on the admin side. In fact, everyone on FaZe is on the admin side over by the east, as you can see. Mav outside, but still attacking from the east. It's a full commitment from east to west clear for FaZe. Retro playing a very long angle from the bathroom. We've seen this position played by actually Retro himself many times on this map, and it's a powerful position, that's for sure, but it leaves him extremely exposed. Laxing is supposed to be his relief, so if he's ever pinned, he can rely on Laxing getting him out of that situation, or at least that's the idea for Reciprocity.
Right. Interestingly enough, it's the mid-round right now that is proving to be a bit of an issue for FaZe as they just line everything up.
You can see the point of contention is going to be Projector. Main control focus for FaZe is Projector, or at least denying it to Reciprocity so they can play in a main lobby.
As it always is.
As it always is. And that's, of course, fresh in the minds of Reciprocity.
Get Skies on the smoke instead of having Retro play that role. That's why Retro is going to be running with the MP5 and the ACOG to be able to hold a longer range. Skies over by Bathroom can possibly toss smokes out, but here's the bigger issue. He's going to expose himself. Basically dare FaZe Clan to land these shots. First smoke canister that was tossed out from Skies went at 1 minute and 10 seconds. Second one's going to go at 45 seconds. Plan going down from Moringa, and Skies will take out Astro. There's the smoke canister gets tossed down, but Moringa is taking a tiny bit of damage. He'll be able to get it off. FaZe, once again, a successful plant, and the Abana will be able to get out. But it's a good position for Reciprocity in the post plan as Retro takes out Yuna. Biggest problem with this site for retaking is the distance at which your attackers can engage. Laxing eliminates Mav, and well, Moringa's very low on HP. He'll get one, goes for a second, won't be able to grab it. Diffuse going off, Disable going down. Cameraman takes out Fox. They push, no camera will feast upon them. What a great play. Laxing is all but down to Cameraman. Another clutch, another 4K. 8 kills on 2 rounds. Man, oh man, what a start for FaZe. double lobby attacks, double plants, and 8 kills for Cameraman.
Moringa, the unsung hero, by the way. 2 plants for him, and he's been having an excellent match as well. Cameraman, though, enabling it thanks to his kills. And wow, what a misplay for Reciprocity. They played everything perfectly, retaking it to the site, but then they peeked camera one by one. To be fair to Reciprocity, Cameraman played it perfectly. He kept himself only exposed to potentially one angle, and he dictated that angle with great efficiency. Reciprocity now have to be in a terrible place mentally, and they will change their setup, going to the top floor. It's been the Cameraman show for this match so far. He seems to really like attacking the middle floor. And finally, that we've moved, now that we've moved, we might see some different results here for Reciprocity. They have been lethal. That retake from Reciprocity was very good. It just was not enough.
Man, what a play by Cameraman. Extraordinarily good individual performance. And he did so pretty much blind. It didn't look like there were any drones to be able to assist him. It's just everybody from Reciprocity pushed him outside.
There had to have been some drones outside.
There must have been a drone, I would imagine, on the bomb.
Yeah, at least one on the bomb, one by the front door. I mean, when you've got 4 people stacking up there, there's no way there's not going to be drones littered all over the place. But in general, an amazing round from Cameraman, yeah. Opening up into the garage, it's going to be FAZE, and an excellent shot from Laxing. Cameraman will not get another 4K, and that has got to be a sigh of relief on the side of Reciprocity. Cameraman calling out the nice shot, respect being paid, and I think it's due.
You just silenced the hottest gun so far in this matchup.
Yeah, that's a really big frag, and it might be, because of that, the first round for Reciprocity, but it's not over yet. FaZe fan could still recover it.
And you still need to be able to transition, right? The IQ going down will mean that Laxing and Mark's utility will be a little bit safer, but it will also mean that FOXA can rest easy. The Pulse will not be aggressively hunted by the IQ, not in the same way that we've seen it before.
Attackers have located a bomb.
So, there you have it.
Pretty big win there for Laxing, and it came off of just a random roam downstairs, peek into the yellow stairs, and good timing, really.
Yes. Possible pressure on Connector over here, as that's where FaZe is looking. A lot of teams will decide to take console and meeting from over on the admin side of things, but that's not the case at the moment. It does appear that it's going to be a console window push.
Ooh, FOXA just saw somebody potentially rotating, but no, it looks like he was outside front door. Bad call on my part, but potentially going to be able to see him on the cardiac sensor, at the very least. He's definitely trying to get control of admin office. There is no admin presence right now from FaZe. They're hitting B.
Which means that both Laxing and FOXA are not going to be able to support their team if the push comes in fast enough. But FOXA on top of the Visa stairs, he'll look over and possibly have a run out. Skies taking out Moringa will mean that Reciprocity has their best possible advantage that they can have. Those Skies has been taken down, and it'll look like it'll be an easy finish for Astra. Upside down on Repel in the console office windows. Claymore still safe, but there's a run out from Laxing, and oh, Astro looked away at the wrong time. Pistol is out, Laxing is there to take out Mav. A huge moment, but immediately silenced by Yuna. Will have to do all the work himself. He's got control of yellow stairs, but that might be as far as he goes. As he gets to the top and looks all the way in towards console office. Waiting around the doorway, the UMP of FOXA will give some warning shots and know that Yuna is under watch, and it's Mark, who inside of Cubby will finally give Reciprocity a victory that they need through 3 rounds. Prompt the team to have to go back to one of the other sites.
Big 3K there from Laxing.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it weren't for that, I think that we might have seen another FaZe round. Reciprocity adjusting the top floor, also a huge factor. Big advantage that they had going into that one. But defending the middle floor was not a great choice. I think 2 rounds in a row from Reciprocity. That's the thing. I mean, when we look back at this at the end, no matter the result, we're going to say either A, Reciprocity could have won it a lot easier if they decided not to defend mid 2 times at the beginning, or B, they might have won if they decided not to defend mid 2 times at the beginning. It really has cost them for this match, no matter the result. But they'll be going down to the basement for their 4th attempt at defense. And I think that's a good call. Maybe come back to the middle floor after Cameraman has cooled down a little bit.
Yeah. cool off he has.
I mean, he didn't get a kill that round, but it's too early to call it, man. It's too early. He could get a 4K this round as well.
Yeah. He was the first person eliminated in that round, and obviously when you have that player of that caliber go off, well, obviously that's gonna be an issue no matter who it is. Doesn't matter what operator they're playing. Obviously, it's more crucial if the operator is integral to your strategy. I find that a lot of IQs, that the way teams play them, they start the early scouting recon, be able to figure out exactly where the defense is better structured if your drones keep getting shot out or if there's new jammers that cause you headaches. And then you just transition to that frag and roll, which is what Cameraman does. And I mean, you can frag so well in the post.
Heartaches. My drone. No.
Not my drone!
No! Oh, Mark the Shark looking on his teammate's evil eye. Retro got a good position there, and he's going to be able to call a push in through the breach. That evil eye on the garage floor is very powerful. Mirror windows to boot, so information is well in hand for Reciprocity. Only way to get rid of these evil eyes right now is going to be from the lifeline or the grenades. You could use the hammer, of course, but it's not likely to happen. Not where it's positioned currently. FaZe are late clearing on the top floor, but only so late. We still have plenty of time here for FaZe, so no rush at all. The roamers from the defense are currently, looks like, non-existent, at least vertically. Top 2 floors stranded, and yes, indeed, all of the defenders downstairs, and it looks like Laxing's going to make me eat my words as he moves up to Visa.
So a nice long angle down to Zulu that we see being played. It leads outside of the bench. Run out potential there as well if need be, but no. I mean, it's a garage play. You could potentially go for a run out, but I mean, that's only really if you lose control of yellow at that point because you don't have the yellow stairs to possibly vault out of. FaZe putting themselves in an excellent position without having to commit a body to flank watch by having the drones there. That'll catch Laxing. As we noted, Laxing does tend to play that very late lone wolf style of role. Just from the audio cues that we had, it sounded like Cameraman was trying to grab some gadgets, met his fate at the hands of Mark's C4, who then gets tossed aside by Mav.
It's a good pick there, but only a response. Mav going to be going for those evil eyes. He'll get at least one. Second nade is already taken out, so he might have gotten the other. We didn't see it, but good result overall for Mav. And yes, indeed, both evil eyes are gone, allowing Moringa to go for a plant behind the black car, and nobody's stopping him. Skies goes for a rush, and he gets it. What a push. Yuna shuts him down. Mav also takes out Laxing, so it's an advantage for FaZe. They have 30 seconds, which is plenty of time. Yuna going for the plant. Above, it's going to be Foxy, but can he deny the plant is the real question. And no, he won't. He'll get it on the post, but it might be too late. Astro now going to be safe to push all the way outside, and he is in the perfect post-plant position. All he needs to do is wait. There is an ACOG on the defense, but he's just waiting for the push to happen, allowing for the time to tick down. He has a drone. Ooh, he eats some shots there. It's an even exchange of HP almost, but he goes to yellow stairs, and they're not expecting this. Oh, go! No, what a clutch from Retro! A beautiful flick onto Astro, who seemed to have every advantage, and Reciprocity will salvage that round.
They are so over, they are enthused. Look at them. They are so amped.
They should have lost that.
They absolutely should have.
That was an amazing
That was
flick.
an almost unlosable position for Mastro.
Yeah, and he lost it, but it was the Maestro. Straight, it was the Maestro who clutched that out.
Yeah.
I can't believe he landed that shot.
It was a beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thing of absolute beauty.
Here's a tricky thing here, Parker. Where are we going?
Hold on a second here. Let me put my glasses on. It's kind of blurry.
He's actually putting his glasses on.
1F lobby, 1F press room.
That's the middle floor, isn't it?
It would appear so.
Yeah, so middle floor, not a great site for Reciprocity so far.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little bit tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And they've lost it twice. But here's the big thing. They've lost it twice to 4Ks from Cameraman. And you could make an argument that it is, in fact, possible for Cameraman to not 4K on this site. I don't know if you would make that argument, but it's definitely an argument to be made.
I mean, you don't have to go to the lobby. There's still the Teller's Archive site as well.
Yeah,
If you really
right.
want to, you got a fourth site available.
You're technically correct. And actually, if you think of it's got, okay, it doesn't get played very much, so the stats are really messed with this one, but it's technically the most successful defender site on this map.
If you look at what just happened there are a couple sites in this game that are brutally hard to retake.
Yeah.
The Garage of Consulate, unless you are dramatically outnumbered, like 1v3, it is so difficult for the defenders to be able to outgun you. The attackers will usually have ACOGs, which the defenders might not have at that point, depending on the way that you ran your team composition on defense and which operators are still alive. You look right now, both Skies and Retro have ACOGs, but if they both die early, and even if it's a 1v3 with a Jaeger, a Legion, and a Mute, the ACOG will allow you to be able to engage at a longer range and be a bit safer. Just play safer, all things considered. You can go all the way back to that driveway at the very top. You can play the marble banisters. You can play by the cars. You can play over by the stairs. It's very similar to kids' dorms in Oregon, where once you lose control as the defense of your site, trying to get it back in a post-plant is nigh impossible. And it really relied on Astro making the right choice to get aggressive on yellow stairs, but Retro's singular effort being the difference maker there.
Yeah, the fact that Retro landed that shot is all that really matters. I mean, I can't even fault Astro for it, to be honest. He could not have gotten back fast enough, and he had to commit to the peak because someone was disabling the diffuser. So all in all, it's not Astro's fault. It's just Retro playing better. He's going to be the man in the bathroom, again, on the roam upstairs. And Laxing is going to be his support once more. Their job, it's just to deny Projector. That's the only room that needs to be held on this top floor by Laxing and Reciprocity. It's much easier to do it on the west side, as the east side is easy clear for FAZE. They always take an admin office, and Reciprocity is expecting that, allowing it to happen. Now, this is really curious.
This is exactly what Nip did, Michael. They literally just walked right into long desk.
Yeah.
Psycho was on Ash, crouched walked his way up to bathroom.
Yeah.
Look at Retro.
And it's really curious that it's taken them 2 minutes to position themselves like this. They know that there's nobody playing in Projector, and that's all that FaZe want to do. They just want to deny it the same way Reciprocity wants to deny it, but that might not be enough with the actual direct denial down from the anchors.
Yeah. So this front door, once again, 3 bodies watching it. We could go for an early execute here. Really fall on any kind of plant denial that could go in. Moringa will just watch it be covered. But oh, a big C4! Foxe finds 2 for the price of 1. And even though Unit takes out Retro, it's Reciprocity all over the board. There's Laxing, another beautiful shot from above. And FaZe thwarted. They walk right in, and they are quite literally shown the door, Michael. And Reciprocity, a great bounce back, and now 3 rounds in a row to lock out FaZe in the latter half of Reciprocity's defense. Console office will open back up for the final stead here on defense for the North American squad.
You should never be able to attack in through the main door on a middle floor defense unless you've gotten some picks. The reason you shouldn't be able to, the abundance of counter utility on the defense. Last couple times we saw Reciprocity go to the middle floor. First time they got thwarted by a rush. Second time, they didn't have enough counter plant utility. They were relying on those gas canisters. They did not do Reciprocity justice. This time around, Reciprocity were ready. That C4 from Foxe, it's a really old C4. A really old one. And it actually fell out of favor a long time ago because it became predictable. But cyclical meta, Reciprocity have brought it back. Worked out great for them there. FaZe just seemed to not expect the C4 from below. That's the only reason I can imagine that they're doubling up on that push in through the front door and having somebody rush in instead of just leaving the planter out to die while trying to cover them to the best of their ability, which is what you would usually do if you're aware C4 is in play, because you lose your planter, yeah, but if you still have manpower, you can re-up on the plant. But not the case here for FaZe. They doubled down, they lost their manpower, and it cost them. Now, as you said, the top floor, the final site here for Reciprocity, and this was the first site, first round, in fact, Reciprocity managed to take, and it could give us a 4-2 split in the first half.
On defense, on Consulate, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what on defense, doesn't matter the map, actually, in this meta, you should be ending about 4-2. The only map I would say that's an exception to that is probably Oregon. I think that's it.
And that's because Oregon has two kind of...
Yeah, and then two kind of okay.
Two
sites.
kind of... Oh, all right.
Yeah, all right sites and then two sites.
If I was to use noises
Grunts.
and grunts
Yeah.
to describe Oregon, it would be like, okay. Oh, I guess okay.
And yeah. For the defense. And if we're talking about consulate, that's the thing is you've got and
Yeah.
in terms of boss
Basically,
sites.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, while the new site is an it's also statistically a really good site. It just doesn't get played very much. Not a lot of teams have strats on it, and that's why it's kind of in the background.
So, final round, and it's attack onto Long Desk, at least final round on the first half of this matchup, and it is our third map as well. FaZe and Reciprocity, as we predicted, would need every single map to get to this point. And even though this is the best map, statistically, for Reciprocity, one of their best maps, they fell to NIP in their matchup just a couple days ago. So, or rather, just a couple in the last couple hours.
Wow.
A beautiful toss from Foxay to eliminate Yuna. It's been moved on to full support. And as the Thatcher goes, so go will the EMPs.
He's also got a flank opportunity, and his teammates are going to be putting some kills on the board. Mark with a run out, and he will be punished, but it's going to take a while, and it's just math. The last attacker, he loses the fight! How does it happen? Mark, what an excellent angle to play there. He was fully exposed, fully detected, and he still won it. Mav has got to be kicking himself. The bar's playing against Mav in that situation.
I think that's a monk ass.
That is a monk ass.
That's a monk ass, 100%.
And it's a good result for Reciprocity, but the whole defense worked there for Reciprocity. Every single facet. They were winning all their fights.
I don't use gamer terms all that much while casting, but that is the perfect description there.
You do from time to time.
I mean, I think it's a folksy reference to just toss in like a little spice.
Folksy?
Folksy, I would say it's folksy, so.
Gamer culture has become folksy.
But man, you now put Reciprocity in a position where, let's look back to the Reciprocity NIP matchup, all right? It was yesterday. On defense, Reciprocity won 2 rounds. One was lobby, taha, and the other was console office. That was it. NIP was so much better. And then, Reciprocity's record, they lost garage. Won lobby, lost console office. Won console office, lost lobby. In the first round of overtime, lost console office. Rec were so much better on attack, and now they have a massive advantage coming into this. The real question is going to be, is the rest of FaZe going to be able to pick it up? Cameraman got 8 kills in the first 2 rounds, 0 since.
On that note, what you were talking about, the fact that Reciprocity played against NIP, I think is a huge advantage to Reciprocity. Because again, as you said, they played on consulate. What did you say earlier about FaZe Clan? Their attack strategies, very similar to Ninjas in Pajamas. In fact, extremely close. Reciprocity has experience against the playstyle that FaZe are employing because they played against NIP earlier. And it's giving Reciprocity good predictions, solid predictions on what they need to deal with. They're prepared. And you're right, going on to attack, this is Reciprocity's comfort zone. But I will say, again, the Dokkaebi not available for Reciprocity, not going to be great. However, Mark has been fragging throughout this whole match, and he's going to continue to do so. Cameraman goes down. That is the dedicated support player of Mark, hitting his shots. Again, as he's been doing a lot for this match. I think he was the top frag on Bank for Reciprocity.
Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
Well, you had Sky's bottom frag. So
yeah,
apparently it's
so
opposite.
I guess Mark has got a top frag.
Yeah, at that point. At that point. So.
Well, in this round, he's gotten a kill, and it was Legion to boot. Moringa's eaten a little bit of damage, and that's over by Bathroom. So he's in a very powerful position. He's trying to deny yellow stairs using this mirror window. It's a pretty common mirror window one we see a lot these days, and very powerful position.
So actually seen its pick rate
plummet
up, and no, that mirror window's now seen a resurgence as of late. Actually,
well, it goes up and down.
Ebb and flow.
Yep. I mean, it's what we usually see, and one of the reasons why it sometimes doesn't see play is because of that nade we just witnessed. Moringa moved in the perfect moment to avoid the grenade, but but still not in the best position because of that. Mav also eating some damage earlier, so great spot right now for Reciprocity.
So you take Retro off of the Dokkaebi, you're going to put him on a position where he's still got 2 smokes in his hands. You got to burn the ADS right there, and Astro will lose the 1 bit of cover that he has in this corner. Oh, and a well-timed grenade from FAZE right through the top of Closet. It just blows up Astro, and it's almost as if he knew at that exact moment how much trouble he was in. One toxic canister will give cover to Moringa as he pushes on out, and Yuna's positioning connector will be given away. But after the drone falls, Mav will push on up to assist Yuna in connector. Moringa just barely surviving the firebolt on yellow stairs means that FaZe Clan are going to have to really hold on tight. Look for some steady ground as this Hurricane of Reciprocity is about to hit, and hit hard. Not a lot of time for Reciprocity to be able to transition on in. And if they don't get this play right through the console windows, there could be a C4 and some plant denial waiting for them. There goes Mark to Yuna. This could end up being a hail of bullets that shuts Reciprocity down. C4 gets tossed out, and it connects. It takes out Retro, and Yuna doesn't see, but it looks like there's another body. Sky's in the midst of smoke going for the plant, and as the smoke clears, Yuna is there. FaZe have everything working in their favor to hold this together as Yuna collects another. FAZE gets one. Mav is down, but he'll have to find Moringa. Oh! FAZE can't plant! Oh! There he goes, he gets it! Moringa on time will find him, and it's easy for FaZe. You can't play it in the closet, FAZE. You've been around long enough to know that. Oh, man. FaZe survived by the skin of their teeth, and despite riding out that storm, they do so with grace.
You know, we're talking about rounds that should have been the losing team's round. Yeah, Reciprocity should have taken that one. Every advantage, manpower, positioning, control, and somehow they managed to lose it. Great plays from Yuna. I have no idea what was happening in terms of communication for Reciprocity because it didn't seem like the planter was aware there was anybody inside, a CEO on the defensive side, but there was, and it was Yuna. He managed to not only take out the cover with the C4, follow that up by disabling the defuse plan. I don't know how Reciprocity allowed that to happen. A lot of players from Reciprocity were off position as well. Laxing seemed to be coming in from behind, but his timing was really poor. The smokes ended up working against him, because while he had control per connector, he couldn't actually do anything because, oh no, teammate smokes. He had to rush through, and then he died. A really peculiar round, a bit of a mess, and FaZe somehow persevere when they really shouldn't have. The round, and the scoreline should read 5-2 at the top of your screen right now. It is the end of the story.
Well, let's also keep in mind that this was FaZe getting back around that they shouldn't have lost.
Fair.
Reciprocity previously.
Absolutely.
Retro was able to win that round against Astro in the post plant on Garage. That should have been FaZe's, and that round should have been Reciprocity's. But as I noted, you've got 3 people trying to go in through the windows on console office, and you have not flushed out connector. You are a C4 or 2 away from certain doom, and that's exactly what ended up happening.
And if we're talking about should-abouts, or should-have-beens?
It's called whataboutism, Michael.
Whataboutism, yeah, if we're doing whataboutism, thank you, Parker. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
If we're doing whataboutism, then yeah, I think personally the match should be pretty much over at this point. Because there were those 2 rounds in the middle floor from Reciprocity, 2 in a row. What about if they hadn't defended that? What if they'd just gone to the standard sites? But that's not what happened. Cameraman not going to commit fully to Bandit tricking the wall, and I think that's probably the right call. He might have been punished for just that. It means we're going to have panel number 3 opened on upper. Correction, panel number 1. Pardon me. It's good control for Reciprocity as they start moving towards the tank. It's nice to see that Reciprocity are opening the garage before they do the other steps. That's the right way to handle attacking on Tonslett. If you don't need to open up vertically, that is, and Reciprocity didn't need to open up vertically. They didn't need any other control besides the Thatcher EMPs and the Thermite exothermic charges. So they went for it early, and it worked out for them. They also had Skies on yellow to peek in case it was necessary. It just wasn't.
They also didn't. They also smoked off a pretty poor placement. Oh man, Skies is off to the races. He's in R4C in hand, but he gets cut down by Moringa. This was a plant for Mark, but he'll peel off and he gets finished off. Moringa as FaZe goes for a full court press, but Rek will lock them all out, and now Moringa will need to do some excellent work. Shotgun in hand, back of white van. Very minimal HP, only 6 bullets to go with. As FAZE is above to just try and sledge away all of the cover that Moringa will have. He gets droned, and Moringa's in bad shape here. Does not really have the arsenal to be able to take multiple fights at such great distances. That's a missed drone as well. As Moringa heads back into security office, and we'll look over towards pipes. Watch the bottom of yellow stairs. But look at this. Reciprocity, you got 3 bodies, you got 40 seconds. Plant the gosh darn diffuser, and there you go. Retro in front of the white van will get it. Moringa with no information, fearing a push. And the double doors over towards spiral stairs. We'll look in that direction. Reload, might as well get yourself as ready as possible for the rocking that Reciprocity is planning on giving you. Because, Michael, this is once again the site where everybody's going to retreat and play as far back as possible and put you as the lone defender in a terrible position to try to retake. That just the diffuser that needs to be disabled is sitting in the middle of the open. The wide gaping hole in the garage, and Moringa will lose some more cover from above as he'll head on out just to the diffuser, and Laxing's watching it. Reciprocity makes very fast work of the post plan after Moringa presents himself to them. And this is exactly how you play it. Those 2 panels, man, so much cover, so much protection for the attackers in a post plant. So difficult for the defenders to win that. Moringa was essentially helpless and hopeless in that circumstance.
Moringa was the only player on the side of FaZe who was awake and aware of the danger that was Reciprocity pushing through the garage panel. The only one. He not only denied the initial plant using his gas canisters, but he also shut down the rush from Skies. He had an amazing round, but everyone else on FaZe fell by the wayside. And it was a pretty easy sweep for Reciprocity. It's going to be another basement defense here for FaZe, and you can expect Reciprocity to be a little bit slower with their take this time. They now have gotten their rush back from earlier in the match, and that karma being paid, I don't imagine Reciprocity will get away with it again. Laxing again. Boy, Laxing has been having a tournament and a half. We've talked about it in the past. Laxing is the definition of a LAN player.
So is Skies usually, to be fair. But Skies is having an awful day.
Yeah, he's having an awful day. It's all right, though. Other players are stepping up for Reciprocity to make it happen, and that it's not unheard of for your main fragger to just not frag, and the support players to start stepping up.
Yeah.
But yes, Laxing, again, the definition of a LAN player. If you want to see somebody who really excels on the LAN environment, it's Laxing. And he's showing that right now. Reciprocity as a whole, though, working as a good unit. They're pretty close to victory here. It's taken all 3 maps, but I don't know. Consulate has just looked like Reciprocity's playing ground.
Just glad that they were able to finally get a diffuser down. Like,
yeah, it took
you got one job.
It took him a long while.
One job at that point.
I do think that Reciprocity needs to think a little bit how they play with that diffuser. I mean, Mark's one of their primary supports, right? Mm-hmm. Last map, we saw him top fragging.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Reciprocity, they have a little bit of, I think, planning to do on the diffuser in the future, but it has, as of yet, not cost them too much.
The ability to turn a game around that Reciprocity has so far on Consulate needs to be given a bit of attention here. As you said, it just looked better, but those first 2 rounds, how swiftly FaZe walked in, got the plant down. Cameraman drops 8 frags, 0 since, by the way. In the next 6 rounds, Cameraman unable to find the board, but that's okay. The rest of his team has been able to pick it up. And you've had Cameraman in various different positions where getting kills not really his requirement. But that could have been, after 2 rounds, the end of any other team.
Yeah, a lesser team would have let that tilt them.
Yes.
Absolutely right, Parker. FaZe very far off-site. They have both an Echo and a Maestro, so this actually looks like a bait. They want the attackers to commit to a push here. They've also got the C4s set up from security. This is a very, very dangerous stack for FaZe, but they clearly know what they're doing. They're expecting Team Reciprocity to attack the same way they did in the previous round. I don't know. This is going to be really explosive.
Yeah. If it feels like it's too good, then it probably is, right? Here's your Ying push, though. Plant falls off. Skies gets cut down. able to make it towards the rotate hole. It's just going to be as mobile or immobile a drone as possible. Cameraman eliminates Skies. So there you go. Pick up a kill, but FAZE will trade off Mav. So both teams will lose one. Skies is downed and then finished off. That's a win for FaZe Clan. It also blunts the momentum that Reciprocity had to be able to get inside of the site. All reliable Yokai drone is there, but Laxing on yellow stairs will punish Cameraman. And FAZE ripping up the floor from above with Laxing looking to possibly try and help out. With those smoke canisters still on the board from Moringa, Mark is too low to commit to a proper plant, as is Retro. And the Yokai drone still up could spell disaster. But Astro with a great gun in hand walks right up, tears through Mark the Shark, and Artillery will head back as Yuna's there. Moringa will also go in, and Retro will have to fall off that defuse, but he's going nowhere, concussed. And seeing many different forms of FaZe as they collapse on him, and it's a good hold for FaZe to be able to take the garage. Only takes 2 opportunities and keeps this gap very close, as Reciprocity's rush does not go according to plan, not go according to schedule, and that's a garage defense successful for FaZe.
It's the same problem that Reciprocity had on Bank. Their strats are stale, man. That's 2 rounds in a row where they commit to the same exact take. Hey, everybody stack up outside garage and let's rush in. Yeah, they changed their operator selection. I'll give them that. But they were predicted. Because anybody could predict that. FaZe adjusted. They brought the right operators to hold on to the garage, given the push that Reciprocity was bringing out. And you said it yourself, it was too good to be true, the amount of control that Reciprocity had inside the garage. And it was a bait. FaZe absolutely shredded Reciprocity because of how predictable the American team has become. They're going to need to adapt their strategies moving forward if they want to have hope of winning this. We still have potentially overtime in line for this match. A tactical timeout here is the right call from Team Reciprocity. Diversity in strats, probably what they need. This giving them an opportunity to formulate one. Again, the stale nature of the strategies from Reciprocity cost them a map on Bank. And it could cost them a series.
Terrible executes and the inability to coordinate cost FaZe a map on Coastline, though.
Yeah, I mean...
both teams showing off their weaknesses here. There's been some stumbles out of the gate, but the things that are done so well, especially by FaZe in that particular round...
It's a great bait.
It was a great bait, mate.
Yeah. Where I know that from something.
It's from the internet, Michael.
Is that just a
lot of things.
Ambiguous internet thing?
Not at Google. Feel free to check at your leisure, Michael. I'm not your father.
We're gonna go to top floor.
I'm not your father.
All right, bro. We're gonna go to top floor. And FaZe, interesting operator lineup here. They're not going to bring the castle, which is a little bit weird on this defense, but of course we've seen that before. Going to bring the double, indirect denial, the Echo and Maestro. Again, 2 operators. Usually you see banned, but not the case here, as Valk and Vigil have been banned. That Vigil went unbanned on Bank, and yeah, FaZe weren't super happy about that.
Good way of putting it.
They won, but I mean, Vigil was still really powerful. And if you don't have to deal with them, sometimes it's really nice.
All right. So, Michael, we have 2 rounds left until overtime. We either go to overtime or Reciprocity wins.
Okay.
Well, actually, 3 rounds, technically. FaZe could technically still win.
Yeah, if it's going to be...
FaZe could technically still win this round.
If it's going to be overtime.
Round, and then still win as well.
Well, 2 rounds if you don't count this round. We're almost halfway through this round, so...
It's going to be an attack upstairs on console office because it has been unlocked / opened yet again due to the way that the rotation works. Bear in mind that you can defend a site only after 2 other defenses, providing you get a successful defense. Example, round 1, you win a site. You have to go somewhere else for rounds 2 and 3. Round 4, you go back. There you go. Very simply.
How that works.
Very simple. So we haven't seen anything outside of the console offices and garage for FaZe because they won console office and then they just won garage on their most recent endeavor. Now, or their most recent venture. If FaZe is successful in console office here, then we will have to either see the lobby, which proved to be quite difficult for Reciprocity all but one time, or the new Teller's Archive site, and we say new because it still really hasn't seen an awful lot of playtesting.
No. Well, it's possible, however unlikely. I think with the level of stress involved and the stakes, I don't imagine either of these teams want to go to the new site. It's a huge risk, especially if it's not well practiced by them. Speaking of risks, we've seen Reciprocity have one of the slowest attack rounds from them so far. They're almost all outside. I think they might all be outside.
Yes.
Just waiting for something.
What is Laxing doing?
He's watching the run out. He's baiting for the FAZE for the run out. Makes sense. It's a smart play.
Right,
but it could potentially be
Claymore.
really bad as Cameraman's going to take out Mark through a run out and a second one for Cameraman. He's not supposed to get that. Sky should have gone the refrag there. This round is all but over as Mav eliminates FAZE. Retro and Laxing are all outside. I mean, Laxing going to start moving his way into the building. He's, I believe, the first attacker to do so. But will it really matter with so little time and so many operators to fight?
No, this is going to be very difficult. Retro holding the diffuser as well means he's very susceptible once again to Moringa's smokes, very similar to last round, or even possibly a goo mine or two should he hit them. He's only got about 30 HP with which to work. He'll head towards Yellow Stairs as Laxing is on the other side of the map, and I'll just wait for the telltale signs of one of the defenders there. The Maestro's going to pop on up, shut down Laxing, and Retro getting a kill of his own, but it could be largely impactless as he gets pushed from Cameraman, who has woken up. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a tie game, 5-5. And FAZE, you can tell, motivated, in good spirits. And that was momentum-based teams, those emotional teams, Michael. FAZE being one of them, they're fired up.
Middle floor here for FAZE. It's going to be the first time they go here. They've got to go full circle. They won the basement, they won the top floor. Now it must be either middle or the new site, and they're going to commit to middle. That last round from Reciprocity, I have no idea what they were thinking. I really...
Maybe they weren't.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe the previous loss got inside their heads, because that attack strategy was just nothing. It was actually nothing. They were all sitting on rappel waiting for picks.
Right.
And that's not a strategy.
Protect your bombs from being defused.
I don't think they were expecting Cameraman's play more than anything.
That's true.
Cameraman essentially broke them.
Yeah, with the run out from the garage, that's a flank you have to watch. By the way, we were talking about how Laxing was watching the run out for FAZE on that bathroom rappel, and that's great and all. But who is watching the run out from garage? Because that's an angle left uncovered. It's important to note that there is a way to watch all of the runouts on the west side. If you rappel on the wall next to those stairs by garage, you can catch somebody running out from garage. You can catch somebody running out from yellow window or door. I mean, you have everything pretty much locked down. You can also technically catch somebody running out from the piano windows, but it's the hardest angle to cover. No matter what you're looking at, though, that's your best bet. No one was on that position. Doesn't really matter. It's personal preference. The baseline of that rappel is that you should have two people covering runouts if you're going to commit to it for the long term. And talking about long term, that was a long rappel from Reciprocity. Yes. It was 2 minutes, in fact.
Laxing just kind of sat up there, and I mean, yeah, you were watching that. But that's why I said, what are you doing? Why is there no Claymore there? What are you bringing as full utility on the attacking side that you don't have at least a Claymore to put on that window? Now, mind you, there are 2 windows there. So you might have had a Claymore on one of them and manually watch the other, but wasn't a good allocation of their time. Not at all. So Reciprocity have found themselves losing out on a major advantage yet again. They took Bank by storm and let it slip away, and FAZE took control and never looked back. Similarly, we have the same story on Consulate. Need I remind you, Michael, it was a 4-2 split through the defense, and now it's FAZE who's racking it up on D. So it could just simply be the defense on Consulate, with the way that the bands play and the way that these two teams play. That's how it works. I'm not sure.
Could very well be.
Yeah.
Marco, remember how we talked about no matter the result, we're going to point a finger back to those first 2 rounds where Reciprocity defended the middle floor and gave a round away for free and failed to defend just on a basic take from FAZE? Well, I'm pointing my finger back there now because FAZE won only 2 attacks, and those were it. Reciprocity has managed to win an attack as well. Similar reason, FAZE weren't paying much attention to the pushing through garage. But that's it. Those are the, I mean, it's 2 for FAZE, and that's going to put them in a great spot and could potentially get them the match. Mark is planting? What is going on? He's faking it, though, and he gets taken out by Moringa. A whole fight going on that we can't see just inside the main door, and it's actually going to be FAZE repelling the attack. I have no idea what the plan was there from Reciprocity. Fox Ace gonna take out Moringa as he drops from above. A confusing result, but he'll be shut down by Astro. Yokai Drone still in play and Retro eliminated thanks to that. Astro with some excellent gunplay. It's all up to Laxing inside of main desk, and he's not going to see the Maestro, but he sees him too late. It's actually the Doc, but it doesn't matter. Astro shuts him down. Reciprocity with a terrible attack in through the main lobby.
I like the celebration from cameraman and Astro and the look of concentration from Mav to say, we're not done yet. And this match could be far from over. We could still have 4 more rounds to go, depending on what happens on Garage.
Parker, Reciprocity just threw all of their bodies into main lobby on a mid-floor defense.
Well, to be fair, we didn't see what happened in the lobby.
Right. But, if you'll let me finish my point, they threw all of their bodies in the main lobby on a middle floor defense. Neither Echo or Maestro banned. They've been fully utilized by FaZe Clan throughout this entire match. You know that they had to bring at least one of them, probably both of them, depending on what the 6 picking was. But no matter how you look at that, you've got a lot of off-site presence in the main lobby for FaZe, and you have to clear that before you make a rush in through main lobby. That's never going to work.
I just wanted to know, was it a simple Capitao, try to isolate with the asphyxiating bolts, get a couple smokes down, and just go for a plant, similar to what FaZe did?
I mean, that might have been the plan, but it was dissimilar, though. I mean, FaZe Clan came from Piano. That was their rush. They came in through Yell Stairs. They went on Repel of Piano. They got the plant where there was nobody covering.
Foxy appeared to have coverage from above. As the sledge then dropped, took out Moringa, SMG-11 on SMG-11.
That was probably the call. Once they had control of above and projector, hey, we have main bomb site inside main lobby. Go for the plant.
Moringa with a double kill. It started the whole ball roll.
It's the Yokai drones and the Evil Eyes.
But no, it didn't actually look like Yuna had a Yokai drone in there, though.
He did.
Remember, he relocated it.
He may have.
Get it in at the very final moments.
But it was calling information. No matter what, the off-site presence from FaZe Clan was predictable. Definitely an Evil Eye, or 2. Probably 2 in there, for sure.
So, Michael, match point in favor of the Brazilians. FaZe Clan right now holding on. They're possibly 2.5 minutes away from seeing them on the main stage on Friday. Reciprocity is a team that has continuously improved in North America and got here by winning DreamHack Montreal. And we're so close to being able to put this away earlier on. But Reciprocity have only gotten 1 round over the last 5. And that is obviously a bad stat line to look at.
Yeah.
It's not just been an individual performance for Reciprocity, but I think that this being a competitive environment has shown that Rec, who are still a fairly new roster, all things considered, right? This was a roster that formed after the U.S. Nationals in December. So you've really only had a month to gel. So they still have things to work on, and I think it's really been exposed here.
I'm really worried about the fact that Reciprocity are going for a main garage take right this second with, again, FaZe Clan having both Echo and Maestro in play. One thing that they have that was going their way is the C4 from Mira was wasted, so that's good. Other than that, though, this is going to be a FaZe Clan slanted round, especially as we hit the halfway mark and Reciprocity have gotten no picks yet.
And I mean, you're not running an IQ on Reciprocity's side of things. And look you've got Yokais, you've got the Mirror Windows, you've got the Evil Eye cams, you know, you've got the smokes available, you've got the goo mines, and you've got IQ, you can counter about half of that. But you find yourself in a troubling predicament where Reciprocity might get a little bit too patient and a bit too meek.
Foxace looking to have an explosive flank here, but Mav is going to be the one to receive him should this ever happen. Mav actually going to be going for, it looks like a late flank maybe? It'll be a battle of timing between these teams. I have no idea how Mark missed that shot, but he's going for the plant. Foxace from behind takes down Cameraman. A huge kill. That's the Mira, though. That's the least denial on the defensive team right now.
And that's the utility that's been baited out now as well. One smoke is Mav, you said on flank, will lose the fight to Skies, who needs to heat up to keep his team in this. As another toxic canister will go down to prevent Reciprocity's waltzing right inside of the garage. It's a counter punch though, but Moringa gets taken out after 1 kill. Retro picks up a double, and Yuna will need to hold everything together. But he's not going to be able to do so, in a 3K from Retro will give the North American team enough to push us into overtime, and we will go the full distance here on this map. On our 3rd map, Michael, we'll need at least 2 more rounds to determine which of these teams makes it out of Group A.
Retro's not missing his shots, that's for sure.
Retro said, I ain't going home.
Not like this. We're still 2 rounds away from somebody taking this. Potentially 3 if we go the full distance. But it's going to take 2 rounds total for one of these teams to win over the next 3. Cafeteria Garage again from FaZe. They've brought a similar lineup here. They've traded out the Legion for the Doc. Could be 6 picked out of. We'll see. But they've got the double indirect denial. That Echo Maestro once more. And that's been such a potent combination. It is worth noting, Parker, that we have seen only 4 attacking wins of these 12 rounds. And FaZe Clan win the coin toss and go to defense first. That could be everything for this whole match.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. We have seen some crazy stuff here at this event, and it's entirely possible Reciprocity is going to work some magic, but they are definitely the ones at the disadvantage going into this overtime.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Not only at a disadvantage in terms of sides, but also
5 seconds to insertion.
a disadvantage in terms of what to bring.
Yeah.
You have to basically create a composition here that can work with the garage, that can work with the console office upstairs, and can work with the lobby on the main floor, and maybe even a wonky Teller's Archives defense if that gets pulled out.
I mean, why do you think there's no IQ? Because you have to bring Thatcher. Why do you have to bring Thatcher? So you can attack garage. I mean, and yeah, IQ would be great here, but you're right. You're kind of limited on your options because you don't know exactly what's going to be happening from your opponent. And on top of that, more than that, on the note of what to pick, I've said it a lot, but Echo and Maestro, neither of them getting banned, has been huge for FaZe, and they've taken full advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got competent fragging potential in Mav and Astro. They can anchor down the Maestro. You've got Yuna playing on the Echo as well. So it's an opportunity that FaZe is not letting slip away. Now, this is an interesting strategy that we've seen a couple times here. Something that Liquid did, if I remember. Basically open up one of the hatches and you can launch a C4 through that. But Liquid did it, I think, with a 2-Mira strategy at the Invitationals last year, all the way from the back of White Fan. Cameraman's not going to bother with that. He's just going to sit at the back. But the gamble will not pay off, as there goes one of the garage panels, and Mark will need to grab the other, in which he stands by in front of the ejected Mira window. Pacing right now, halfway through the round.
There's nobody by pipes for the defense. They're relying a lot on the indirect.
Also the Yokai drones.
The Yokai drones, the indirect from both them and the Evil Eyes, going to be very powerful here, but it's forcing a retake strategy from FaZe. It's definitely a combination that's worked for them in the past. They might be predicting a Ying to be brought by Reciprocity, and that's why they're playing so far back, which would make a whole lot of sense.
Which is what Skies did bring.
But it did not work for them last time, and that's why I'm guessing they're not bringing it here. It's still anyone's round, but FaZe are in a good spot.
And here we go. Smoke's going out, and Mark will just watch very tenderly as he goes for a plant in a spot that a lot of people aren't anticipating. But Astro is there, and the Yokai drone will possibly spot him. Sky sees Astro, but no! They don't spot Mark! Reciprocity locks the site down. Skies gets 2, which will force the double ACOGs of both Mav and Yuna to try to retake in a 2v5. An almost impossible situation. A beautiful shot from Mav, and Yuna will get Skies, but all of the rest of the bodies from Reciprocity will be so far removed. Mav picks up yet another, and FaZe right now grabbing victory from the jaws of defeat. The timer at half, Mav on yellow stairs, watching very patiently. Yuna trying to long arm this as best as he can, but he's only a pixel away. Mav gets down, picks himself back up. Yuna going for the disable. Oh my goodness, Laxing is there. Mav takes him down, and he'll have to grab the diffuser. But no, he's out of time, and he's out of life. Laxing dismayed, but Reciprocity managed to still hold it together. And the whole region of North America will breathe a deep sigh of relief, as it's a defense for Reciprocity and long faces on FaZe Clan as they now sit facing elimination and an early trip home.
What a round. Period. I mean, both teams played out of their minds. There was no world where I saw Mav and Astro bringing that back, but they came darn close. Within 1 kill of winning that round. Retro managing to clutch it in the end, as he has been so clutch on these basement attacks and throughout this tournament. Seriously impressive feat for Retro to make that happen, and more importantly for Reciprocity as a whole. the most impressive thing to me was the plant. And such an odd location. If the Yokai had just seen the planter, it would have been an easy denial. And he was in a position where he could have denied. But, and this is very ironic, the gas canisters from smoke obscuring the vision for the Yokai. He couldn't see him.
Yeah.
He couldn't see him. That is such a oof.
It's misfortune.
It's truly misfortune.
You can't predict that.
I mean, you can't blame the smoke. The gas canister should be going down. He's trying to deny the plant, same as you and your Yokai.
And you don't think that anybody's going to be planting over there, because in the times that I've casted this game, I've maybe seen 4 or 5 times that somebody's planted in that part of the map.
Uncommon as all heck.
Extremely uncommon.
And that right there is the tenacity of Reciprocity. The beauty of that call to plant behind that box, they clearly wanted to do that from the get-go. The whole take was centered around it. Why did they want to do that? Because they knew that nobody from FaZe were defending behind white, which is a key anchor position for most defenses. Since no one's behind white, Reciprocity focused and prioritized control of the platform. Once they had control of the platform, they didn't need anything else. The plant was going down. None of the denial was in a position to deny the defuse going down. So just, wow, a brilliant calculation. Came within inches of failure there for Reciprocity, but still the right call. And that was a salvaged round if I've ever seen one. And now they get the advantage of defending. Potentially, all they're going to need to end this.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So what kind of heroics can FaZe muster up here for their fan base, for their region, for the rest of this team? It's do or die, quite literally, in regards to this particular setup. We're going to go up top to console office for the very final round of defense for Reciprocity. There will still be one defensive round for FaZe, if FaZe pulls it off. But given how the defense have looked so good, that's definitely not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination. Now, a lot of times that we've seen an attack on this site, Reciprocity have stacked 2 bodies up by Visa. Right now, that's exactly where Laxing is going to play, and the pulse of FAZE was not too far off. But FAZE's upstairs right now, instead of being down in server. So a bit more of a conservative defensive setup from Reciprocity for the time being.
I think that's smart in this situation.
Laxing the only one that's roaming.
Yeah, he's in an odd spot, isn't he? But yeah, pretty far from the action. He could catch some rotations from FaZe if they come out, but Reciprocity should be aware that this is a dedicated B take from FaZe Clan. It's a bit of a risk to go for that, but hey man, you gotta do something to give yourself an edge.
If nobody takes piano control from FaZe, and nobody from FaZe flushes out connector, it's so easy to thwart a double repellent on those windows to console office.
This is looking a lot like that round from Reciprocity where nothing happened for the first 2 minutes, and oh, something will happen, but it's exactly what FaZe don't want. Mav, one of their best players, will be picked off by Retro.
Who peeks that?
Who peeks that indeed, Parker? But it works out for Retro, and that's all that really matters.
That's a kind of play where it's just, you know, it pisses Mav off.
It does, and it might cost them this tournament.
Your only set of frag grenades from FaZe Clan gone. Your soft destruction, your ability to play underneath the site and clear out any roamers, also equally gone.
Reciprocity are sitting pretty now as we hit the last minute, and all they need to do is wait, use their utility deny, and they're going to get another one on Tayuna. Mark the Shark shuts them down on yellow stairs.
And Reciprocity just needs to wait as the yellow cloud will smoke will slowly dissipate. Cameraman down in Zulu taking some damage, and he'll run off with Laxing on a deep roam down in the basement looking to come back to site. He'll do so through spiral stairs, but he gets caught out. And actually, there's still a pulse left. Not just in FAZE's hands, but also in FaZe as they pick up 2 kills. But still, control of connector is being held for Reciprocity. This is pivotal. If you can't push Skies out, you cannot make this work. And there you go, Skies gets 1, but down by Astro. You got FAZE below, Astro gunned down. Cameraman will need to do it all. He was so good in rounds 1 and 2. All of FaZe watching as Cameraman has no time, he has no diffuser, and that's it, Reciprocity will take it. There will be representation from 2 North American squads as it comes down to the wire, and a lead slips through their fingers, but they regain the momentum at the very right moment. Reciprocity will be your 5th team